go right. You can go forward, but never ever back. Yeah, just woke up. I ain't gonna wake up. Beautiful day. I ain't feeling your side.
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? KCE, King Chaka.
I can't hear you, bro. I don't know if your mic is muted or what, but I can't hear anything you're saying
Fuck, how long has my mic been muted? God damn it.
since I've been in here.
That's why I hate it when I'm in here by myself. Fuck. I did a whole damn monologue for 14 minutes and then fucking nobody could hear it. I'm not going over that shit again. I was saying it's not you, it's me, and it's a psychological disorder that people have. I'm not going over that shit again. That just took a whole bunch of energy out of me. Oh my God. That sucks. I can't tell when y'all can hear me or not. Fuck. Hate that shit. Anyways, bro, how you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Fighting against time right now, trying to get to the truck stop and park.
God damn it. My brain is fried now because I just did a whole damn 14-minute monologue that wasn't even being recorded. Damn it. That's really messed up because when people play the video back, they're gonna have a whole 14 minutes of me just sitting here like making facial expressions and moving my mouth. They ain't gonna be able to hear nothing. Damn, it makes me want to start the
Can't
whole
edit.
show over.
You can't
I
edit that out.
afterwards. Right now I can't.
Yeah.
I might do that. I might just do something and re-upload it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, how you feeling today, man?
Shit, I can't complain, man. I really feel good. I really feel good.
That's what's up.
I was saying in my monologue that nobody could hear that the name of the show is "It's Not You, It's Me," and it's a mind fuck that we do to ourselves when we say this because you know how like when you're in a relationship and you're breaking up with somebody and then you say it's not you, it's me, but you don't really mean that. You don't really mean that. It's them. I mean, it's you. You really mean that it's them. You know what I'm saying? But you're trying to be nice or whatever. And I was saying that that's a phrase that sums up our society in a nutshell and the insanity of us not being able to take personal accountability for anything. But we act like we do. We pretend to.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Damn, I hate that so much that I freaking didn't have the mic on. God damn it.
I mean, it doesn't show you on your screen like when you start talking, mic muted.
It did, but it was down on the bottom and I just didn't notice it. It shouldn't have been muted because I started off with it on and somehow it went. Sometimes it just mutes me. I have to keep an eye on that shit.
I mean,
Yeah. Whatever, man. I'm gonna move forward. Let's see. What do I want to do first?
but on that, what you were talking about, man, I think it depends on the situation and what you're going through as far as when you're breaking up with someone and you say it's not you, it's me, because you may mentally be tapped out, mentally tapped out from the relationship. And at that point, it could be you, and it's best to remove yourself from the situation because you have nothing to offer that person. You have, no emotional connection. Y'all are just two people existing in the same household. And at that point, it's just best to move on, bro.
Yeah. So it's not you, it's me. Have you ever said that to anyone? Or has anyone ever said that to you?
Yeah, I've said that to somebody. I mean, especially like when you feel like you're just when you're trying to get a point across or you're speaking to somebody, you're having a open conversation and you're being vulnerable, and it appears as though the person is not accepting of what you're saying. So yeah, I have been in a situation like that where I was like, you know what, man, never mind, forget it. It's me. I'm tripping. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So when you didn't really mean it, right? Like you didn't mean that it was really you when you said
Yeah,
it.
In that aspect, no, I didn't. But as far as breaking up with somebody, nah, never really did. Whenever I broke up with somebody, I was just like, look, man, this shit ain't working. You know, yeah, I'm a bounce. So, but yeah, nah,
Anyways,
but I get the concept, and what in the way you were speaking. So I didn't hear it, but you breaking it down just now, I understood.
yeah, I'm not going into it. Um, I'm not going backwards. So we're just gonna keep it moving. Let me cover this news story that was brought to my attention today. Um, let's see. 12-year-old among three juveniles accused of shooting and killing three Florida teens. This happened in Tampa. Interesting dynamic. It was black kids that killed the white kids. So, anyways, let me play this.
Florida. Deputies have two boys in custody in connection to three murders in north central Florida. This is in Marion County between Gainesville and the Villages. A 12-year-old and 17-year-old are facing first-degree murder charges. Deputies say they are still looking for a third suspect. They say all three people killed are teenagers.
Now, although we had out there that was gang related, we have nothing specific to say that it was any rivalry or anything to such that cause. But however, each and every one of them, in some shape or form, is associated with a gang. Basically, simple terms, there is no honor among thieves. And at some point, these three individuals turned on our three victims and murdered them.
The FBI, U.S. Marshals, and Orlando Police are also investigating.
So, did you catch that?
Nah, this is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Let me see.
For our first side of the road from the apparent gunshot.
Let me play some of this one.
First of all, I appreciate everybody being here. And we're here for two reasons. Because of a very extremely tragic incident that has occurred. On the other side of the coin, a conclusion to that tragedy. As all of you are well aware, last Thursday, March 30th, we received a call near Forest Lakes Park, where our first victim, Layla Silvernail, was located suffering from a gunshot wound. She would later succumb to her injuries. The following morning, we responded to a location about a half a mile away and located a east on the side of the road from an apparent gunshot wound. And on Saturday, April 1st, my deputies located Layla's car abandoned and partially submerged in a pond about 9 miles from the location where she was found. I've investigated.
Come on. YouTube.
Investigators located the third victim inside of the car. I'll go ahead and tell you, because you've been asking me, the specific details. It was located in the trunk. Now, I want to clear up before we get into those details. Based on the interviews, digital evidence from her phone, she was there of her own free will. Now, I'm going to start off by thanking all of the entities. If there's ever a true example of law enforcement, communities coming together and a almost perfect collaboration to come to a conclusion in a week, on a triple homicide is truly amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that they moved so fast on this. A lot of these kind of crimes go unsolved.
Who is a juvenile also is who we're looking for. Now I'm talking to the viewers. Some of you know him, you know where he is, and you need to turn him in. Now I will get him. I will find him, and justice will be completed.
I don't know how old that one is, but that looked like the one that could have been 12 years old. One of them was as young as 12. Let me see. They got a picture of the other ones. Let me play this.
And the Christopher Atkins, the 12-year-old, we've located him at
Oh,
his house. Yes,
okay.
after serving a search warrant.
They weren't on the warrant in there. They might be received for that.
So the kid on the left is the one who's 12 years old. Okay, so Florida teens triple murder, 2 juveniles arrested, sheriff announces. It says the 3 Florida teens found shot to death last week were killed by 3 other juveniles in a gang-related triple homicide, Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods said. The sheriff announced the arrest of 2 juveniles, including a 12-year-old, during a news conference on Friday. Deputies are still searching for the third teen wanted in connection to the killings. Yeah, so anyways, this is pretty fucking horrible. But the media loves to cover stories like this, I would say, you know. They love to dig around in these kind of stories because it's like you look at these 2 kids, these 2 black kids in this picture right here, and it's like, you know, they killed some other teenage kids. Who knows what the full circumstances were in it, but regardless, people already have their preconceptions, you know what I mean, their prejudices, and they're already going to come to their conclusions with this. And so what happens is, you know, this justifies the way, you know, like let's say black kids are treated, you know what I mean, by law enforcement or, you know, by the system or whatever. It's like even when they're 12 years old, because this dude's gonna get tried as an adult on this case at 12 years old, and so people are gonna be like, well, you know, that's justice or whatever. They're gonna be like, well, you know, how else are we gonna be able to deal with these people? Like they're animals, you know. You get what I'm saying? What do you think about this, Deuce?
I mean, for me, just looking at it, it's sad on both ends. The teenagers that lost their lives, uh, and then the 3 that was involved in killing them. You know, they pretty much lost their life. You know, the minor, he may get tried as an adult. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. I don't think they can give him the death penalty, seeing as he's a minor. But it's a sad situation, man. You know, I mean, I'm sure that there will probably be some bias in this case. You know, because of the situation. But at the end of the day, you know, they committed a crime. They ultimately took someone's life. You know, and they took someone's life. You know, and whatever. I don't know the situation. I haven't followed the story to know the full details. I don't know if we'll get the full details because it is minors involved. Um, but however, they committed a crime and they took somebody's life. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. if it was one of my children that they had killed, I would be expecting for justice to be served the right way and that they are punished for their crime because I couldn't get my daughter or my son back, you
Yeah.
know, and I mean, it may sound sad being a black man, or people may have their opinion being a black man saying this about three black adolescents, but it's like, say, man, right is right, wrong is wrong. They had a choice. They had a choice in the matter. They didn't have to take their lives if they were trying to rob them or something. Hey, man, just rob them. If you get jammed up because you robbed them, take your lick. You put yourself in that position, but you didn't have to kill them, if that was the case. I don't know that to be the case.
What did I
I'm
miss?
assuming because I don't know the full details, but that would have to be a this nigga here coming here sounding like Curtis just interrupted motherfuckers.
Well, you had paused for a moment, so I do apologize. So that's
Yeah, man.
Man, I'm just fucking with you, Pat. You know I gotta fuck with you, man.
well, I just I don't want to be the rude person. I mean, I'm gonna step on toes every now and again, but it wasn't meant for that. At least not
Nah,
this time around.
nah, man, I ain't tripping, bro. I'm just fucking with you. I ain't even realize you was in here because I'm watching the road, not looking at the screen. But no, man, like I say, man, to be honest with you, bro, I think until we have all of the facts, I don't think that we need to throw those racial biases out there. Oh, look at how black kids are being. Look, man, they took somebody's life. They took lives. Ultimately, they took lives. They're in the wrong. You know. Now, if it was three girls that lives that they took, what could these girls could have been doing to them for them to feel like that they have to take their lives? You know, I mean, so I don't know, bro. I mean, maybe I'm
Let me
wrong for
read.
saying it or looking at it in that way, but they took a life, and if it was my
Let
child,
me read some of this.
I
So let me read some of this so Pat can be caught up. It says this is what is this? Yahoo News. Fox News. Florida police arrest two juvenile suspects in murders of three teens. Hunt for third suspect. Friday, April 7th. Audrey Conklin. It says Florida authorities have made two arrests in connection with the killing of three teenagers in a rural Marion County around March 30 and are searching for a third suspect. The Marion County Sheriff's Office arrested two juveniles, one of whom is just 12 years old and the other 17, in connection with the triple homicide. A 16-year-old suspect is at large. There are individuals out there viewing who want to blame the one thing that has no ability or capacity to commit the crime itself, and that's the gun, Sheriff Billy Woods said during a press conference. These individuals committed the crime. The suspects fled the scene but left a lot of evidence in their wake, Woods said. The suspects are part of a larger group who have been involved in burglaries and robberies, according to the sheriff. Police previously said the suspects may have been tied to gangs, though they have nothing specific to say that it was any rivalry or anything to such that cause. However, each and every one of them in some shape, way, or form was associated with a gang. There is no honor among thieves. At some point, these three individuals turned on our three victims and murdered them, Woods said. The sheriff added that he had to stare into the eyes of the suspects' mothers, who were willing to give their sons everything, on Thursday evening before their arrest. Police said the two suspects who were arrested were surprised when authorities showed up to take them into custody. The fact is, society fails them. Not hold our juveniles accountable. We minimize their actions, Woods said. The three deceased teenage friends, a 17-year-old male and two 16-year-old females identified as Layla Silvernail and Camille Quarles, were shot and left for dead in the rural county of north of Orlando, sometime between March 30th and April 1st. The triple homicides left Marion County residents on edge especially after officials announced the unrelated murder of an adult male last week. The mystery began March 30th when MCSO deputies responded to the area of Forest Lakes Park on Southeast 183rd Avenue Road, where they located Silvernail, 16, with a gunshot wound. Authorities transported the teenager to the hospital in critical condition, and she lost brain function until she was pronounced dead. A day after finding Silvernail, MCSO deputies responded to the Southeast 94th Street and Southeast 188th Court and located the deceased 17-year-old male with a gunshot wound. The next morning, on April 1st, MCSO Major Crimes Unit, Forensic Unit, and Underwater Recovery Team responded to a tip and searched the area of Maluka Loop Trace and found Silvernail's vehicle partially submerged in a body of water. The car was about 9 miles from where Silvernail was found. The suspects were in Silvernail's vehicle with the victims prior to their deaths, according to the sheriff. Authorities believe all 3 victims were shot at the same time. She was there of her own free will, Woods said of Silvernail. After obtaining a search warrant and searching her vehicle, authorities found 16-year-old Corrales in Silvernail's car dead from a gunshot wound. The arrested suspects confessed to shooting Corrales in the vehicle, Woods said. The suspects obtained guns from car burglaries, he explained. Woods previously told Fox News Digital that he believed that the suspects were part of a wannabe or neighborhood gang, and the victims likely knew them for a short time. The Attorney General's office is reviewing whether to try the 3 suspects as adults. A little bit more. Police have not released the name of the male victim who was killed. Woods said his office is seeking any information regarding Silvernail's vehicle, a white Chevy sedan, from anyone who may have seen it on or around March 30th. The MCSO is asking anyone with information to contact Detective Ryan Stith at 352-368-3542. ... So what do y'all think on this one?
I don't know
Like
if
I
it's
say,
real.
man.
Weird.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, bro.
What? Well, no,
I
because
already spoke towards it.
yeah, I mean, as far as if they did what they saying, shit, you gotta bring them in. You know what I'm saying? So that's just really all it is to it. Ain't really a whole lot to do. You say that the society, the community failed them, but I mean that's nothing new. I mean, they're using those comments right now for what? I mean, what's the what's behind that? They
It's
gonna
really
ask,
it's really sad overall. But it was 3 black kids who did the murder, and it was 3 white kids who were murdered. So that's part of this.
okay, but so was it a racial thing, or was it just a drug deal gone bad? What? Like
We don't know. We don't have all of the details in it, and I'm assuming that they haven't released all of the details, considering it's minors involved.
yeah.
I don't know if that's how the system works.
Well,
But
we
at the
already
end of
know
the
that
day,
they potentially are gonna get you know,
Tried as
treated as
adults.
adults. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But my thing is, man. I mean, I hear the angle. I hear the angle where the way Chaka's going, and and just in trying to state the differences when it comes to blacks or versus whites in the judicial system. But at the same time, man, we also have to stop and think about if a black dude kills one of your kids or kills your kid or your sister or your mother or father, you want the law to penalize him to the fullest extent,
Well,
you know. And so,
I'm willing to also throw in there that shoot, maybe these kids are victims too. The
yeah,
the
Yeah.
the the kids that did the killing, they victims too.
Like somebody put them up to it or something, because they're really young too. So and then they're talking about some kind of gang
Well,
activity. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was an OG who
Well,
was
you know, honestly, like we've seen similar things like this before because I mean, especially when they start talking about this whole gun, you know, they start talking about the gun reform and all this and that. There ends up being a lot of just stupid shit that happens, and then of course, you know, to make it racial to piss certain people off that will they know that will get out and you know do something for or to make certain demands to make sure certain things happen. So they piss off the right people. They can get. They don't have to do so much work to get the gun reform. They're gonna have the people out there fighting to try to get it done. So I say that yes, that could easily be a payoff for the you know somebody you know getting these kids to run off and do this thing. And ultimately, this is just another political ploy.
well. That's kind of why I wanted to cover it is because of the interesting dynamic and how the media likes to play up these kinds of things or whatever, and then it pulls on people's emotional, you know, strings, and you know, I don't know, I don't know what my point is. I don't really have a point on it.
My
It's
thing is
just
Well,
they
that's
shouldn't
but
be
see,
trying
but
that shit in
that's
Florida
why.
because Florida is not gonna fucking disarm their citizens. Florida
No,
is
it's
like
not gonna.
Texas. It's
No, it's
not
not
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen.
They promote you actually having guns to protect
Well,
yourself.
well, I mean, any state that doesn't, to some, you know, they're harming their people by, you know, not allowing them to protect themselves. Uh, you know, especially the law-abiding citizens being able to protect themselves from any, you know, from any front. But like I said, when things like this are unclear, usually, you know, like there's no direct motive. There's like it's just a bunch of stuff that's thrown up in the air. All they're using right now is emotions. I mean, you know, the people are riding on only emotions, and then they're it doesn't matter what happened tomorrow because shit, the people pissed off now. You know what I'm saying?
well,
So
well, you know, I have an issue with the guns part. So it's like they
I mean that's
got gun.
fine. You
They're
can
young as hell, and they got easy access to these damn weapons. You know, I feel like if it wasn't so easy for them to get their hands on these weapons,
they're not that easy to. That's the whole other thing. They're not as easy to get a hold of as you're trying to say, or that they try to make people believe. It's not that easy for people to get guns, especially illegal guns. Ain't really that easy to find. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can get a hold to some, you know, based on your connection to the streets, but they those people ain't out there trying to. They just really trying to protect themselves. They ain't out there doing stupid shit like this. And like I
yeah.
said,
So, but that gives them access because they said they did some robberies or whatever. I think they said they did some car robberies
But
or something
but
like
that's
that, and
not
that's where
giving
they
them easy
found.
access to guns though, bro. I mean, if I got guns in my house, okay, and they run up in my house and they able to access my guns, or I'm in my, you know what I'm saying, like they get a hold of my guns, or they break into my car and steal my gun. That's not easy access. They straight up thieves. They went into my property, stole my fucking gun, you know, and then on top of that, they said that they could be a part of some little gang or neighborhood association type of deal, gang or whatever. Who's to say, like we were saying earlier, the higher ups in the gang didn't give them, could have gave them some throwaway guns. Like, hey, y'all go do this right here. Y'all want in so bad. Well, we need y'all to go off somebody. That's
well, I'm
just
gonna
part
tell
of
you,
your initiation.
this
And
better
and
be
they
a
gave
good
them some
fucking
throwaway
story.
guns.
After if you know, like if we gonna take this as some real shit, I tell you what, everything better line up. They better do their investigations right because I mean, I'm already like we talking about from 12 to 16-year olds. Like
Yeah,
they not making agendas like this on each other. No, like that's somebody definitely at a higher level, maybe more. If we talking about Florida, I mean, maybe I don't really know too much about a gang activity because like Florida, Louisiana, Texas, like we don't really do we don't do gangs like that, bro. You know, we might have some family affiliations or, you know, maybe a few people from the neighborhood might get together and stuff, but it ain't no real gang shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to
Yeah.
get the little hustle on or whatever. And if some shit went wrong, you know, like I said, you know, they were trying to rob other children. Like, bro, it don't add up, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of them stories that popped up, and it was so crazy to me that I kind of wanted to cover it. You know, with
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
teenagers.
we gotta let some more come out about this. But you know, like I said, I mean, they really got me. They got me hyped this week because shit, you know, ever since they've been trying to make the transgender boy, girl, whatever, in Tennessee be a victim, like everybody should be a victim then. You know what I'm saying? This person can be one.
Um, well, let me do this since because we're talking. Let's segue into the guns just for a second here.
Let's move on
John's.
guns.
Well, this comment right here. I want y'all's take on what John Stewart says in this.
Amongst children in this country, and I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
So what do y'all think? Comments?
Say, bro,
He's pushing
they
for the
they use
LGBT people.
they using these things. Now he's not really pushing for the LGBT, but he's trying to use that, like, you know what I'm saying, putting sex in front of children is okay. You know, you're saying that we should, you know, maybe, you know, indoctrinate our kids with the bullshit. Because I mean, if anything, let's just say, okay, both of them, we need to do something about both of those issues, because like everybody don't want their kid, you know, at 10, 12, 8, 6, whatever, learning about all of this weirdo sex, you know, different types of sex. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about, you know, but okay, the gun. We want to talk about guns. All right, let's talk about guns. Don't compare it. You know, that's the problem I have mostly with this. What's his, John Stewart or whatever? He owns some. He in his political bag. He trying to pick up his check at the end of the week. You know, for doing his part to try to sell, you know, the leftist agenda of taking guns from people, bro. Like, it's not gonna. Overall, it's not gonna work. I mean, you can try to do all you want. Yeah, nobody wants kids to die, but you know, how about we figure out what the problem is, why they choosing guns to solve their problems. That's where we, you know, they don't want real change. They just want to, you know, a band-aid change. No, but no, really, they want you to be weak and vulnerable so they can come in and do whatever they want to you as as an unarmed people. Like that's ultimately what they're trying to do. So why, if tell them to stop killing kids just to try to control the rest of the world. Like that's really what it's coming down to. Like,
What do you think, Deuce? Because it's like it's the argument is the drag shows more dangerous to the kids than freaking guns.
My thing is, bro, when they get on this whole gun control thing, they will use anything and put anything under guns. Yeah, guns are more dangerous. Guns are this or that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they, the gun don't commit the crime, bro. It's the person behind the gun. It's the person that has the fucking index finger that's pulling the fucking trigger. You know what I'm saying? And then to say, well, for him to start out the thing, drag story time is not the high number one killer of
yeah,
kids.
because we
Okay, well,
getting
it's still killing it's still killing our fucking society, bro.
yeah.
It's killing our society, but they don't want to mention that. That's killing our society. Like, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, I got family that's gay, that's transgender, and all of this thing, and I don't treat them no different. I embrace them, I hug them. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being out in public with them, but it's like don't force that shit on me, and then try to tell me that in the same sentence say that my guns are bad. Okay, well if my guns are bad, you dressing like a fucking clown is bad too. You know what I'm saying? The school system.
What about the kids in school that's horrified when they see this person come up dressed in in drag, and they're like, what, like they're not worried about those kids that they scaring the shit out of, huh?
But they're not thinking about the detriment that you're teaching a young child.
Yeah, I mean, but
That
I mean,
his or her family is teaching them the right way, and
no,
then they go
the
sit down in
effects.
the library, and then they have a man that's dressed as a woman
Yeah.
reading books to them. What about the effect on that? So you just
Well,
confused the fuck out of that child.
say, bro,
And,
the
and for people,
psychological issues that these kids are having after, like, they're way more
yeah,
confused.
but we're
They're
not
way more
talking about
confused
those issues.
after this type of stuff.
We're not talking about those issues. Guns is the number one killer.
Yeah, well,
Guns are the problem for all mental illness in the fucking country too.
so
You
but
know what I'm
look, the
saying?
argument is the
Guns,
kid is
guns,
sitting
guns,
there.
guns, guns.
The kid is sitting there in the library at school getting read to by whoever, and then somebody comes in there and shoots up the school and kills them. They're dead. Like
Yeah.
that's 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 a little more extreme. That's
More
the
more than
what is the
It's
likely,
really,
focus?
more than
it's
likely,
not.
Should we
if
No,
focus on the
if
But hold on.
honestly,
let me say
if
this:
they
if a
die,
drag queen is there, if they have drag people there reading them story times, I guarantee you, won't no mentally insane motherfucker come in that school and shoot. And if he does, when he see the drags, he's gonna stop. Oh my
look,
God, it's my
children want to
people.
know. Say, bro, I'm gonna just say this: children want to know why the hell they are not protected. Why are we? You know what I'm saying? If the criminals have guns, why don't the good people have guns so that they can protect their families, their children, the schools, all these different places? Like, children think that some of these adults are just incompetent or stupid because it's like, if everybody else got a gun, why don't I have one? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I need, they're trying to figure out now, like, what can I do to protect myself, because adults will not, because they want to make the gun political. No, if everybody know that, if you know that somebody else most likely have a gun, they're gonna think twice, three, four, 5 times before they try to come and run up on you, because they like, okay, they got just as much, like, they pick on people they know are not armed. And that's the part, like, that bothers the hell out of me, because, like, you're demonizing a piece of metal but you don't have nothing to say about the ignorance that you letting run rampant around the damn country.
Yeah,
You
and
know what
they
I'm
don't
saying?
talk. They don't talk about how not only that, how you have that shit around. What if this person is welcome in the school because, we have to allow these transgender or we have to allow these drag people to come in. What if this motherfucker has, as a pedophile, and then they're around these kids? The child molestation. Think about how that's killing a kid. Think about something like that.
No,
We're
no, you
not.
can't.
They
You,
they
you
don't
can't
even they
say
don't
that.
even bring up
That-
those kind of issues
You
because
can't
now
say that
now you're saying all people that dress drag are,
because
are,
why are
are
they picking on little
molesters.
kids? My little thing is why they picking on little kids with this
Why they
with
ain't
their
going
whole
to
with
no?
their escapade.
But
You
You
know what
see
know
I'm
the
what,
saying?
art,
Kristen? Why
but
why they not going to high schools reading books to high schoolers? Because they know the high school motherfucker. Man, get your drag ass out. What the fuck, right, man? I don't read no
but
book by your
look, the point is, why is it politically? Why is it so much focus on this LGBTQ thing
Yeah,
over, you know,
because
death, people
well,
being
well,
killed?
because one thing about it is you're saying as if you know go there are two different things, two things that don't both need to be fixed. Like, yes, something needs to happen about people
But it's way more
in
focus
which we in which
on
we
the
have solutions.
LGBTQ.
No, no, but listen, we have solutions, but too many people trying to be all what because you soft or you got a different mindset about guns and actually just protecting your people. Like you rather make an argument and just saying, oh well, nobody should have them. Like bro, like country, we have proof of what other countries live with that don't have guns. Like it's just more stabbings now, or I'm a bludgeon your ass to death with my fucking Louisville Slugger or whatever they call it over there, a fucking baton.
Let,
Shit.
let me let me read some of this right here. Check it out, okay? So this is the New Republic, and the name of the article is Florida's anti-drug bill is so extreme it would ban the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Hair the musical. Okay. Who is this by? So I can
If
give him
say,
credit.
bro, no, see, and that's the crazy part because like I'm not trying to keep these people from having their shows and they can do whatever they want in like private venues. But when we talk about public schools or even private schools, like you don't have the right to just intrude on people's children and indoctrinate them on or try to mesmerize their mind. We know that these young kids are little sponges and they accept that they're trying to find an identity and you're pretty much trying to impress on them, hey, this is what I did and blah blah blah. And most kids that's got parents that, like I'm not really worried about that with my kid because I know how I interact. But there's a lot of kids without parents that's willing to have those conversations. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? That and you're impressing certain things on young children that's it's not right.
So Prem Thacker, April 5th, 2023, is it says Florida Republicans are pushing forward a bill that seeks to ban drag shows from allowing someone under the age of 18 to be in attendance. But the bill is so vaguely worded, using the term adult live performance, that even Republican lawmakers have admitted it would prevent a high school kid from watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show or even the musical Hair.
Yeah, but that's because they see, and I think by the time you're 15, 16, you should you know who you are. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about most parents don't want their young children impressed upon when we know that like if they just had, if they go through school the same way everybody else did because I mean, and then going to see a live show, you're not necessarily looking at this as being, somebody's real life. This is just some more entertainment. But you know, it's there's a difference, bro. Like Don't
Well,
act like a 5
here's
or
a
6 year
question.
old. Sure.
How about the birdcage? How about
What
Mrs.
about it?
Doubtfire?
And see, there you go. I saw
Man,
something. Something I saw said it would stop Beyonce from being able to do a show.
no, y'all, bro, y'all making too much of this. You know, y'all really annoying me with that bullshit because
Well, see,
I
that's the
just said, I just
problem.
said,
That's the problem, though.
I
This
just said
is
in
making
private
too much of
venue,
it from the other
nobody's
side of
watching
it.
Miss
Get back
Doubtfire
in the
at
case.
school, in elementary
Actually,
school either.
yeah, they do.
No, they're not.
On
I
man,
saw
you
that.
remember some? I've seen all kinds of crazy movies on days that the teacher didn't want to do nothing.
Yeah.
In elementary school.
And I don't think Mrs. Doubtfire is a problem with the kids seeing the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. It's actually a really good movie.
It wasn't even
No,
a
I
PG
enjoy
movie.
Mrs.
Or
Doubtfire,
it was,
but
it
what
was
I'm
a
trying to
PG
tell
movie.
y'all, I'm trying to tell you, like, this stuff barely showed on regular TV. This was not something that was being shown in elementary school, bro. Like there was documentaries of whales or something else that we might watch that's in elementary school. Like I think you
Well,
guys are too
see,
far out
that's
of
the
touch.
thing. They're trying to ban it in all public places, not just schools.
Let me read some more of this. It
Well,
says
I mean that's misleading. Like they're using political, like they're writing the law so that it's so obnoxious, just insane, so that there has to be, they have to allow it. Like they're playing y'all. Like that's the whole thing. Like they're playing the hell out of y'all, and instead of just like, okay, look, certain things are not allowed in schools, just like they don't allow you to have church service unless it's a private school, but you can't have no sermon in the class talking about God and Jesus and this, that, and the other, but you can talk about some titties and like flaunting sexual, like I don't know if y'all seen some of these shows, or at least parts of these shows of what they're actually doing. Like, and look, y'all can have that fight. Y'all can
Here's
have
where
that
we're
fight.
getting to the 1% rule that we've been having the problem with and all of that. Less than 1% of children die from shootings in school shootings. Less than 1% of these drag performers are doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And but those are the ones that we see because that's what they plaster all over the
It's politically blown all the way out.
But how do you
But
guys?
I fully agree
wanna
that
know,
clerk
how do y'all
lessons do
benefit
not
from it?
belong in school or the libraries.
Okay, well, so that's
Some of the
so
stuff I've
don't
seen is absolutely
Doc,
disgusting and
but
should
Doc,
not
if
be in
that's what
public.
you really believe, don't come on here, going with the whole narrative that okay, all this stuff is cool, because I mean, people are listening.
But look at the repercussions of this stuff. See, look how far it's going. That's why I'm covering it. Let me read some more of this. It says the bill is also explicitly targets pride parades and celebrations by preventing a government entity from issuing permits to an organization that may put on such performance. If a violation occurs, say in a city like St. Petersburg, which hosts the largest pride celebration in the state, the person who issued the permit could be charged with a misdemeanor. Let me read some more. In addition, any establishment that violates the law will be subject to license suspension or revocation and liability to large fines and a misdemeanor charge. One violation would spur a $5,000 fine. Subsequent incidents would spur $10,000 fines. The bill defines adult live performance to include any show, exhibition, or other presentation in front of a live audience that in any form depicts or simulates nudity, sexual conduct, sexual incitement, or specific sexual activities, such as lewd conduct or the lewd exposure of prosthetic or imitation genitals or breasts. The bill is concerned especially with any such conduct that is deemed patently offensive to prevailing standards in the adult community of this state as a whole, with respect to what is suitable material or conduct for the age of a child present. It's unclear that those standards. It's It's unclear what those standards are and at which adult community conference they were hashed out.
That's going to be some interesting thing because Florida's full of old people and their parents, which means they're going to be pretty judgmental on that.
Yeah, this
Well,
is a problem.
It is a problem, but if people, if it wasn't for the mostly trans community going out and being so wild, like it wouldn't, you know, so if it was more innocent, if it was actually more innocent, like a lot of people wouldn't say anything, but because of how like out there they've been is why they're like, we need to protect our children. Like people, like it was that much of a concern that people said, like, you know what, like guns is not the problem, this is the problem. Like that's how bad these people were acting in schools, in our public schools.
Let me read some more. It says politicians are imposing their personal beliefs on Floridians by punishing businesses that support the LGBTQ community, said the Florida ACLU. This is a far cry from the free state of Florida that Governor DeSantis is claiming to promote. While Florida Republicans advanced this bill, they and other Republicans have been busy just this week pushing forth other anti-civil rights legislation throughout the country. Idaho and Indiana both instituted bans on gender-affirming care for trans people under the age of 18. Florida and Texas advanced their own similar bills banning gender-affirming care. And Kansas advanced legislation banning transgender people from using public bathrooms or even being able to update their name or gender on their driver's license. Florida Senate Republicans also passed an extreme 6-week abortion ban. All in all, these Republicans are doubling down on infringing upon people's civil rights under the guise of protecting the children, while thousands of students demand actual protection in the form of taking action on mass shootings and gun violence. But no matter for Florida Republicans, just last week, they made it legal to carry concealed weapons in the state without a permit, training, or background checks. So that's that. What comments?
I know in the place where they, you know, the guy that got expelled, like the schools in Tennessee are able to protect their kids. It was just this school that this Christian school that didn't or does not use guns, or you know, they must have some funny thing about protecting themselves or their kids, and you know, that person that used to go to school there knew that and chose to go there and kill kids. So when people know you don't protect yourself, that's when you're going to that's most likely when you're going to get the most harm.
Say when you like create barrels, they will shoot fish.
They're going to try you. They're going to try you because you smell like, you look like, you smell like, they're going to treat you like.
I want to cover this story here because it seems like we are kind of beaten up on the LGBTQ community, and I don't want to come across as that is what I'm doing. Me either,
here. But you know, I have to speak truth. But I'm not trying to beat up no community. Like I want people to have their rights, but I don't want you just trying to express your rights so much that you're trampling on mine.
And also, like, well, let me just play this, and we're going to talk about this.
We're learning about the moments just before a James City County police officer shot his sergeant outside a Williamsburg bar.
Michael Rusk is facing charges in connection to that January shooting, which seriously hurt Sergeant Christopher Gibson. Investigators initially said the two officers got into a fight after a night of drinking. But as 10 exercise Julie Millay learned, the shooting might have been about much more than a bar fight.
Yeah,
Julie?
Tom and Amy, investigators simply said the two officers involved in the shooting were known to each other. Now we're learning what that might really mean. The alleged shooter, Michael Rusk, says he pulled the trigger in self-defense because of unwanted advances by his sergeant. We're about to share exclusive surveillance video and the 911 call from the shooting, which we played for Michael Rusk's family for the first time.
Would you like to hear it? I'd love to hear it.
For the first time, Jason Rusk is hearing the 911 call his son made in the early morning hours of January 25th.
I shot Sergeant Gibson. Do what? I shot Sergeant Gibson. I pulled a gun on him. He's advancing on me. Is he breathing? He just fell out.
James City County police officer Michael Rusk called 911 after he allegedly shot his superior officer, Sergeant Christopher Gibson, outside a Williamsburg bar, where the two had been drinking together. Video given exclusively to 10 on Your Side shows the two officers before this happened.
Okay, I need you to take a deep breath for me, okay? Is he breathing? Is he breathing?
The 911 call goes on for just over 5 minutes. That's when responding officers show up to find Gibson had been shot 3 times, seriously hurt in his stomach and shoulder. Court documents show Gibson told officers Rusk shot him after a verbal argument. But Rusk, his dad, and his lawyers say it was much more than that.
You know, it started to get creepy.
Jason Rusk says his son told him about unwanted attention he got from his superior officer leading up to the shooting, and that he had reported it to others on the force.
There was a year's worth of grooming that had taken place.
Rusk says his son is the victim of unwanted sexual advances and had been for a long time.
Extremely inappropriate touching, stalking, the grooming, the previous to the incident assaults.
We reached out to Gibson several times to ask him about these allegations. He declined to speak with us. We also requested from JCCPD a record of any complaints filed against Gibson during his time there. We were denied. The video shows the officers at the bar prior to the shooting. You can see them sitting across from each other at the start. Then you'll see Gibson move in to sit next to Rusk. Gibson reaches for Rusk's hand under the table, which seems to be met with hesitation from the younger officer. Then, just about an hour before the shooting, the two are seen leaving together. After Gibson puts his hand on Rusk's shoulder, you see Rusk forcefully push him off and put a finger in his face before walking away. We don't know what happened next, but after the shooting, Rusk makes this claim to the 911 dispatcher.
I told him this zombie kept going. I thought he was gonna rape me. Help me. Help.
If our client was a female, this case would be drastically different.
Rusk's lawyer says the video and 911 call make a clear case for self-defense.
I think it'll show that certain steps weren't taken that needed to be taken.
The attorney says those steps, like looking into Rusk's claims of unwanted sexual advances, could have prevented what Rusk's dad calls a tragedy, which will affect his son for the rest of his life.
He told people from the get-go that he was sexually assaulted. He said no, and he kept on. He said no, and he kept on. If I had a daughter in the same position, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't have an innocent person fighting for their freedom.
Williamsburg officers are investigating the shooting. They had no comment on this story. James City County Police also declined to comment. Calls to the prosecutor trying the case were unreturned. You can hear the complete 911 call on wavy.com.
So
I'm a bit confused because I mean, go ahead. Ask the question.
There's never an excuse for someone to sexually assault someone, regardless of their sexual preferences. You get what I'm saying? And this guy was a superior officer. So this kind of thing happens a lot, where someone who is in a position of authority over someone and they feel like they are submissive or whatever, you know, like they do this to women all the time, you know, and they do this to gay men all the time too. But because of our bias in our society, where we feel like a man is supposed to, you know, men don't get sexually assaulted or whatever, you know, a man can't be raped or whatever. Like we have this thing
that's bullshit.
With that. So this is a case where he had a superior officer who was, you know, basically sexually assaulting him over a time period, and you know it popped on this night. You know what I mean? It came to a head where this person reacted, you know, over the top as a result of all of these unwanted advances. And what I wanted to focus on is that, you know, it doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. There's no excuse for someone to be raping you, basically harassing you in this sexual way, especially from a supervisor, because you're gonna feel some kind of way. It's a dynamic where that person is in charge of you, so you trying to tread lightly to keep your job. You get what I'm saying? So, but being that this dude was a gay man, you know, then they're gonna let it slide that the guy is, you know, that his superior is, you know, harassing him sexually. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
that's the point I wanted to make. So, like, I wanted to make sure that people watching the show understand that I'm not here bashing on LGBTQ people or whatever. Everybody is human and deserve human rights. Everyone deserves to be protected to the point where they don't have to worry about this type of thing.
Well, I'm looking at it from both sides, because on one end, you know, because in a situation like this, the guy that is doing the harassing, you know, like he's, you know, that's like I'm seeing a common theme that, you know, they're being more aggressive because there's not enough restriction, or, you know, like they feel they can do more than the average person. But the guy who actually like did the shooting, the dude that shot the cop, I also have to ask, like, why are you hanging out with him? If he's always doing this, if he's always going too far, like, what made you, you know what I'm saying, still go hang out with this guy that's consistently harassing you?
Because because you're his boss, and he's your boss in a small town cop shop. You got to play nice. You don't have to acquiesce. You just have to try to play nice. My question is,
playing nice, and I guess he was just that aggressive with him that he had to blank him.
Like I say, you know, there's a few questions to be asked in this whole situation. Like, did they have their guns with them while they were drinking? Did the guy go to his car to get his gun and shoot the guy? Why didn't he just drive away?
Well, I don't know if
there's a lot of
that far.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing.
That part wouldn't make sense.
There's a lot of missing stuff going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had to go to his car to get his gun, why didn't he just leave?
Well, I mean, he's a cop. I mean, I don't know if I you know, I'm not even a cop. I got my shit with me wherever I go.
Yeah, so most likely he had it with them already, I would say.
Okay, so he's a cop in a bar drinking. He has already violated both the law and his police thing, because you're not supposed to be in a bar drinking with a firearm.
Man, that's bullshit. That's just like
no, it's not. Now, I don't know about that state. It might be different in that state, but I guarantee you, here in Texas,
no, bro.
As a bartender, if I see you got a gun on you, you're out.
Even if you're
a cop?
If you're a cop?
I have gotten in trouble with my boss by asking a cop to go and put his concealed firearm that kept flashing, in his car.
Yeah, you might have been overstepping your boundaries with that.
Oh no, I guarantee you, if anything happened, the first thing I'd do would be hand the firearm that we had behind the bar to the police officer to take care of business. It wasn't that. It is a violation of the law, and police do not have the right to violate that law. Are we saying police are above certain laws or not?
No,
I don't think any of us have ever mentioned that or agreed to that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you're not going. I mean, I'm about to leave your establishment if you telling me I can't have my shit with me, just because. I mean, you know,
if it's in a bar and drinking, when you got that permit to carry that, you signed something that said you weren't going to do it in a place that serves alcohol. I don't care. I don't care if you're in a convenience store that sells alcohol. I don't care if you're in a grocery store. I don't even care if you're in a liquor store. But if you're in a place where people are drinking single beverages, getting drunk, loud talking, shit like that, no, you do not need a firearm, especially if you are one of the people drinking.
Shit, that's one of the places where you probably need it the most. That's when motherfuckers gonna try to check you.
It's called de-escalation. It's called de-escalation training.
Yeah.
Well,
So
whatever. Well, let me say
And
this
trust
because
me, I know how to
what,
de-escalate a 6'4" dude on PCP with a katana.
well, let me say this because whoever is there, and either they don't care that what's happening between these two people, that nobody got in front and try to de-escalate anything to the point where this dude done blanked his boss.
Yeah, like I say, I'm kind of interested in. He was back there. He stood back. He was pointing off. What happened after that? Did they go separate ways? Did one guy go to his car and the other guy follow?
No, one went to one went to the hospital and one went to jail.
There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of minutes between that, between the end of what they saw on camera and that 911 call.
Okay.
Why was he unable to get away from that person?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know.
Well,
why did it get to the point he was already in his face saying, back off, leave me alone? We saw him with the finger pointing, get back. So that's like I said, that's what I want to know. If the guy was stupid enough and still kept feeling up on him, yeah, I understand.
Obviously, he was being way more aggressive than what we, may can even assume. Because, I said, for it to
I saw
go
that
to
drop
that
down
level,
under the table. I've that drop down under the table has gotten me to leave bars before because someone tried that. And actually, it was really cool because they told me to sit down and they took the guy out back and beat his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that was in a gay bar.
But the point, the part I want to focus on is that, just because he's a gay man doesn't mean he can be, sexually abused.
No, a predator is a predator.
Yeah, but both of them are gay, or well, at least we know one of them is at least gay.
But only one was a predator.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry, Sergeant Kevin Spacey, that dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And this kind of thing happens a lot,
especially amongst the gay community.
But that's what, because see, if I say something like that, I'm wrong. But this is a common theme. This is something that's like they are pushing the bound. Like they don't have these are the new Jews of the world. Like these are the people that can't be touched. These are the untouchables. Like if you do something or say something, now all of a sudden you're wrong for just pointing out the truth.
See, this is truthfully one of the reasons that the gay community has been going on like this about a lot of stuff. And I'm not talking about these whiny fuckers that are popped up now and everything is about, I don't give a shit what you think. This is my feelings. You have to deal with me. I'm talking about the ones that have, the gay community for a long time. They've been trying to get us to pay attention to this because they want people to know that we're not all like this. Because most of the time, all you would hear about would be about, Kevin Spacey, the predatory gays.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that's why
I don't put a mark on the whole community because there's a few bad actors here and there. Because I mean, if we really calculate the percentage, like we're not talking about the majority of them. It's a few that's doing things that wants to go out of their way to, like either make their presence known or to do some mischief like this, like
to just do some bad things that people they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
That's the same argument we're using with you
just
about
just like anybody else. I got gay family as well. So I mean, I don't judge them. It's just a matter of like, okay, if you're going too far, I don't care who you are, you my family or not. If you taking shit too far, I'm just like I gotta say it.
Yeah. So, but the point is, bad people do bad things, and it don't have anything to do with their sexual preference.
No,
You know what
I
I'm
mean, yeah, because I mean, but the I do appreciate the point that they're saying, because people need to realize that this situation need to be handled the same way they would if it was a woman that was getting harassed
Yes.
by this guy,
Right.
because this is like, it was unwanted, regardless of, you know, the dude is gay. It's like, just because he gay, he supposed
And
to,
it looks
he
like in this
gotta have.
case that
If it was
wasn't
a
handled
girl 2
like
years
it was.
ago, he would have Me Too'd, been put on a friggin' Hollywood star, given all kinds of contracts, and probably got to meet the president too, and given an award, a medal for it.
Let me read some comments underneath the video.
If it was a girl.
It says, it's great that they were able to obtain security footage. People who abuse positions of power should be held accountable. Another comment, it says, please do not let this get covered up. Keep it in the spotlight. Another comment, it says, I know what it feels like to not want to speak about it and be embarrassed by something that's not your fault. It's brutal. I hope things turn out okay for him. So it's like, as a man trying to tell that somebody is sexually abusing you, that's a tough thing to do, you know?
For one, a person might be somewhat embarrassed, but I mean, I don't think it's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, somebody trying to hit on you, that's one thing. I mean, it's you trying to hit on them, that's something different. But like,
no,
you know, but they're looking at, okay, if you a man, look, you handle that, whoop his ass, or you know, whatever. Like, that's what people expect. That, okay, well, I guess if he disrespected, it's kind of like the whole Terry Crews conversation. Like, some man came and grabbed your shit, why you ain't slap the piss out of him?
Because
You know
it's more complicated than that. Like, you know, it's all about positions of power, positions of authority. Like in the Terry Crews situation, it's like, you know, I'm trying to get this part.
I
or
hear
whatever.
you, but I'm
trying to get this
saying
job.
that is the consensus for the most part.
Right.
Is like, okay, the average person is like, well, you a man, stand up for yourself. But you know, I don't think that they're considering the fact that, you know, okay, this guy, he's, you know, somewhat intimidated by this other guy, whatever
Right.
their relationship, this, that, and the other. But for the most part, people gonna be like, shit, slap the piss out of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's where our problem in our society is, where we try to look at men and women differently as far as, you know, when it comes to being sexually abused, you know, and I don't think there should be any difference, you know.
That's why I followed the same thing that I would advise a woman: get the fuck out of there if you can. Leave.
Yeah.
You had it on camera. Get to your car.
I'm
Get
still
away. If they
confused.
don't let you get away, don't let you get to your car, then fuck them up.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm still confused with why, like, if, you know, he's been harassed by this person over and over again, you know, whether y'all work together or not. Okay, look, all office hours, like, we're not on office hours, but we hanging out together and we out drinking or whatever. Like, oh boy, thought this was his chance.
Well, could be it was just something that led up to this. I mean, it could have been, you know, a little bit of joking between them, not knowing if you're going to take it seriously or not. They both might be gay.
And we have to give
it's
the
not
benefit
it's
of the
not
doubt.
said anywhere whether the guy that shot the other one was also gay. It just said he did not want his advances.
And we have to give the benefit of the doubt. We can't be on this victim blaming thing that society likes to do. It's a small town. It could have been just that he was at the bar and the other guy showed up at the bar. Like,
Exactly.
It wasn't a date. It was just a, you know,
They could have been there with
happenstance.
other people and the other people left.
You know?
Okay. All right. Hey, you know what? You got me on that one.
I mean, we don't know why he was in the situation that he was in, but he obviously was uncomfortable after the move was made, even more uncomfortable out front, and told the guy, back the flip off.
Yeah.
But the next 10, 15 minutes, we don't know what happened except one guy got shot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of questions there as to why was a gun involved and not car keys.
Let me read a couple more comments. It says, This is disgusting. The man very obviously and clearly used self-defense. Another comment, it says, he sounds so traumatized. He even tried to save this predator after this happened. This young man deserves nothing but support, encouragement, and compassion. I hope he can start his healing process as soon as possible and that justice is served. Another comment, it says, the call is heartbreaking. He warned and warned. Another comment, it says, I really hope they take his case seriously. Men can be victims of sexual abuse and harassment too, and we shouldn't discredit him just because he's a man, let alone.
And I don't think he should be sitting in jail either, because they wouldn't make a woman sit in jail that was in the same situation.
I don't think so.
He's part of the town. I doubt he's a flight risk.
Yeah. Let me read some more. It says, I just can't imagine being shoved away and then still pursuing that same person repeatedly. Like, what the F is wrong with people? Another comment says, so happy that the video footage was captured. Poor young man. I can only imagine how much bullying and sexual assault and other things go on in those corrupt spaces. Couple more comments, because I read one earlier that was really good. I'm trying to get to it. This comment, it says, I can't imagine the amount of torment this young man must have been feeling for so long. No wonder he snapped. I hope he gets justice. Another comment, it says, if our client was a female, this case would be drastically different. It's depressing that we live in a society where that statement is true. Another comment, it says, my brother's older male boss came onto him at work. He was so embarrassed, he pushed him off and didn't tell anyone for a while. They worked in a shop and he was super aggressive to all the guys sexually because it's an all-male environment. Nobody has ever brought it up or wants to talk about it. But he is asking his male coworkers to fillet him, walking up behind them and thrusting into them. Just so ridiculous. I feel bad that they don't feel like they can speak up. Hold on. We need to change this for men everywhere. It happens often. Couple more comments. It says, this also happens more than people know in our military. I lost respect for authority, courts, boards. Those in supposed high places are some of the lowest forms of life. Yeah,
Often people who seek power are those who deserve it the least.
Yeah, this is kind of depressing.
Well, let me ask this: did y'all hear I sent you a video earlier. At least one of them was about the Anheuser-Busch thing. You see that?
Yeah. We was talking about that a little bit last night. After the show, it's funny. It's funny to me. All of that is hilarious.
What was funny about it?
I still remember the 3 football players that dressed up as women for the Bud Light Ladies Nights in 1994. And the ads were banned in like Florida and 2 or 3 other states.
Yeah. Well, them saying that, like, I can't drink Bud Light because they got the gay pride flag on their can.
Well, that Pride can is actually Canada's can. That was Canada's can last year. The rainbow.
Yeah.
The one with Dylan on it, it's not for distribution. Anyone that partners with him, they do a commemorative can like that, and they send like a 6-pack of those cans to the guys that they're working with their faces on it. And it's the only ones that exist. It's a special print. It's only on those few cans.
Well, the reason why I find it funny is because it's the same people that call other people snowflakes, and they're snowflaking it out with that. Like, oh, I can't drink Bud Light. I can't drink Coors Light now. Like,
if they would have sit there and say that I'm not going to drink Bud Light because their new spokesperson advocates and supports prepubescent transgender therapy, both medical and surgical, absolutely, I'm 100% behind them for boycotting it. That is the only real reason, other than their spokesman is trans. It's the
I
horrible things that they support.
100% agree with you. But just having the flag on the can or whatever, I mean, like if I don't drink beer, so but if I did drink beer, that would not have any. I would not feel any kind of way, one way or the other. Like if I want to drink the damn Bud Light, I'm gonna drink the damn Bud Light.
Well, we all know Bud Light is like sex in a canoe anyway.
It's terrible. It's the worst.
Humping close to water.
I'm saying that's got to be the word. And I like beer sometimes. I used to drink beer back in the days, but Bud Light is hard to drink. That shit is terrible.
Yeah. Tecate or whatever, all that stuff is pretty much the same. I'm
I
like,
say,
if
fuck you with my
I'm
big
if
Bud
I'm
Light
gonna
can.
drink a beer, I'm gonna drink a real beer. I'm drinking some Modelo, some
Modelo.
yeah, Heineken, some
Let me
freaking
tell you something. When I was about 37,
Goseki or something.
when I was about 37, 40 or 37, 35-ish, I started gaining some weight and didn't realize it. So I switched from Budweiser to Bud Light, and I switched from whole milk to 2% milk. And next thing I know, I wasn't gaining all that weight as much anymore.
Because that beer got so many calories and people don't even realize it. So yeah, it ain't nothing but sugar.
And then some
I
folks
drank
drink
Carbach.
about a six pack of them.
They be drinking
Maybe
24
more,
packs.
12.
I drank Carbach.
No, I'm talking about one person.
Yeah, one person, 24 pack. Let me
What, over a weekend?
shit. Yes.
Okay, maybe I could see the weekend, but I'm talking about like in a day, like overnight.
I'll drink about a 12 pack in a night.
Yeah, man, that's actually
Of the Bud
really
Light.
common. It's really common. Let me cover this right here because last night we were talking about the feel good stories. And check this out right here. So this is an example of it. So it caught my eye today. So that's why I wanted to cover it. So look, check it out. It says Florida mother who used her life savings to pay for her daughter's cancer treatment wins $2 million lottery jackpot. So here goes the feel good story. Let me read it one more time. It
Good
says
for her.
Florida mother who used her life savings to pay for her daughter's cancer treatment wins $2 million lottery jackpot. So here goes. This is a perfect example of what that meme that I was reading yesterday was talking about, because we're focusing on the fact that she spent all. So it's a feel good story. She spent all her money on her child's cancer treatment, and then the God or whatever blessed her. The universe blessed her with the $2 million jackpot. But what the focus needs to be is why the hell she had to use her whole life savings to pay for her child's cancer treatment. You get me? Are y'all following me? Why is it that?
Because the corrupt medical industry makes it impossible to get universal health care, which is exactly what you're trying to push for right now. You don't give a shit how much it costs right now.
No, that is not the health system. That is not health care. That is just medical, medical cartel.
When a hospital can give someone $115,000 bill to someone that they think has insurance, and they go, "I'm sorry, we don't have insurance," and they go, "Oh, hold on, just a minute, let's see what we can do," and they come back with a $7,000 bill, we're always going to have a problem. Until that problem gets solved, we can't afford health care for everybody.
So
I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times
we're going to be paying for it at the $100,000 rate, not the $7,000 rate, because that's what government
because
does.
a charity donates. They have different charities that donate to the different hospital organizations that, so like somebody that's indigent that can't afford to pay a bill that don't have insurance, they can reduce that bill. If not, and if you can actually prove that you can't even afford the $7,000, that bill will be forgiven.
That's
let me
all
tell y'all
beside
something.
the point. The point
Yeah,
is they're screwing the hell out of all of us, and it's ridiculous. We just came out of a damn pandemic. Why the hell are we not talking about health care? You know what I mean? And how much it costs and how much they're ripping us off.
Because the people y'all voted in is liars, players and liars, and they rather do everything to distract you from them, you know, you not
I agree
noticing
that
that
we
they
need
didn't do
that
their
shit.
job.
I
But
agree. I agree that we need that shit. But the thing about it is,
but what usually happens to cancer patients when they go into they, you know, let's say they have gone into remission, they got to get some surgery or some miracle medicine going, like their insurance company fucking drops them.
Yep. So
Okay, another thing you got to realize about this modern medicine system when it comes to the VA, I'm going to use them as a good example because that's what is our pattern for our mass health system is going to be. So, first of all, you have to get permission to get certain tests. And okay,
That
so
cost
now they've got the
thousands
test.
of dollars for
You
each
only get
one.
you only get the basics ones. Now, if it's okay, we're detecting precancerous signs in your stool or something. Okay, now we need to authorize these tests. A month or two later, it comes back. Okay, bam. Okay, you got the C. It's not that bad right now. So we have a choice. We can give you this medication, which costs a whole hell of a lot. That's going to knock it out for sure. But since that's so expensive, we're going to try these treatments first. So they try this treatment. Doesn't work.
That they
6
know
months later. Another
know it's
year
not
later,
gonna
let's
work.
try this other one, the next expensive one. Well, let's try this one. All of a sudden, you're stage 3 now instead of just beginning. And then it's like, okay, now you have another choice here. We can do radiation and all this, or we can do the medicine. Well, the medicine costs a little bit more, even though it won't wreck your body forever. And
you
it's
know,
only,
a lot of
but
them don't.
this
A
is
lot
like
of them
a
don't
couple of
realize it.
$1,000s less for the radiation. So why don't we just do the radiation and treatment? Because that's going to save money. That is how our healthcare is going to be decided with the system that we're using right now.
But I'm gonna tell y'all this, because a lot of people are so sold that this medical mafia is the way to solving your medical issues. But if you maybe, you know, from time to time take some castor oil or get you some sea moss or moringa, you know, the burdock, you know, different things that, you know, you can take that'll eliminate a lot of these things that, you know, as
How
while
about
you're
just
living.
stop
That's
eating
what that's
McDonald's
real.
3 times a week?
Yeah, that's real healthcare. Yeah, and deleting these certain things that you put in your body, that all these chemicals that's in
Eat
fast
a
food
vegetable
or
that's not a freaking French fry once in a while.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, the point is this feel good stories right here draw attention away from, you know, the problem, and I feel like it if you really read through the lines, it points to the damn problem. Let me read the caption because it says, "God is good. Geraldine Gimblett, a Florida mother who used her entire life savings to pay for her daughter's breast cancer treatment, won a $2 million lottery jackpot. But get this, roomies." The win came just one day after her daughter successfully completed her last round of cancer treatment. The day before my mom bought this ticket, I rang the bell and walked out of the hospital after completing my last treatment for breast cancer. Geraldine's daughter, who remained anonymous, told the lottery. My mom had taken out her life savings to take care of me, and I was sick. I'm just so happy for her. At first, the gas station clerk thought there was no tickets left, but I asked him to double check because I like the crossword games the best. He found the last one. Geraldine explained. After winning the game's top prize, Geraldine chose to take a one-time lump sum payment of $1,645,000. So, and then look, the first comment underneath it says, "Look at God."
Won't he do it?
Another comment, it says, "God was like, nah, you go first, then I'll go." Another comment, it says, "So we're going to act like Dr. Sebi did all that work for y'all to still go to these European institutions to get got. It's dope that she
Bong
wanted to
bong.
help her daughter, but why are we so uneducated on health?" Boom. Somebody is
Yep.
on point.
That's my exact point too.
Look, here goes another comment. It says cancer treatment should be free. If cancer is not a money grab, I don't know what is. Shaking my head.
No, insulin should be free, or at least as cheap as we can make it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, all those things we're talking about actually can be cured instead of pacified.
Well, yeah, like I said, don't eat McDonald's 3 times a week. Eat a vegetable other than a French fry.
Well, that's a part of that as well. But I'm saying,
Drink
like,
some water instead of Coca-Cola once in a while.
oh my God, for real. or like juicing, like instead, like fasting actually would help people more if they, fast, at least, a couple days each month, have a day where your organs are not.
Go back to when we were hunter-gatherers and went without food for a day or two every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was really, really healthy. Let me read this one. It says the lady should have
we were
never.
also short.
The lady should have never had to use her life savings to pay for cancer treatments. America, God bless that lady's heart. Another one, it says America needs to get better with policies and regulations. Why does anyone need to drain their account to receive cancer treatment? So that's my point. So, and we're going to focus on,
like I said, because she got to choose the cheap treatment instead of the insurance company choosing it for her.
Let me
That's
read
a
this.
big difference in healthcare, man. It really is.
Let me read this meme right here. It says, a nation run by bankers will never be out of debt. A nation owned by weapons manufacturers will never know peace. A nation that allows a small segment of its citizens to write the laws will never know justice. And if these elements own the media, we will never know truth. Anyways, let's talk about Trump. Let's move on to Trump because we didn't get to do.
Did you see the video I sent you a little while ago?
I don't know.
Was it Rising? What's the little cute black chick that I like?
Yeah.
You see that video I sent you?
I don't know. Did you sent it through You sent it through the group?
Yes.
Oh, I see it. Breonna Gray brags laughable persecution of Trump is a distraction.
Yeah,
so we didn't get to cover this. I wanted to.
The same one. That might be a different video because there was one that was showing that it was that it's a distraction, but there's also where they're talking about how small. We're looking at how they're not being fair about charging all presidents for crimes, and they're talking about sexual stuff. They try to put Clinton and Trump in trouble, because of some sexcapade where there's actually war crimes that's been committed around the world by all the other presidents that they just seem not to talk about. So that's a point that I thought of.
But they can't go after them for anything. Those war crimes, they can't go after them if it was a decision that was made while they were sitting president. They are immune to prosecution during those times. They can only be impeached for stuff like that. That's why all of this stuff. This is this mayor of New York, or used to be the DA or the DA there. He swore, he ran on a campaign of, I am going to arrest him and put him in jail. I am going to take Trump down. So that statement alone that he ran on that, to me, tells me that this is a political prosecution more than it is a legal one. Whether laws are broken or not on this, I mean, I can tell you 90% of the businesses that I know, even the most legitimate, uptight owners, if you go through their books with a fine-tooth comb, as much as these guys have done, you can find felonies.
Well,
you can find dropped and lost things.
Well, that don't justify it. I bet you're right about that. But that.
I'm saying, but But this is not persecution. This is not going after him because he did this. Because if it was, he would be going over at all kinds of businesses, all kinds of people. He hasn't put any charges like this toward anyone else, just Trump. Just like he promised to do. He is fulfilling his campaign promise, which is a witch hunt.
And it's still
Right or
illegal.
wrong, whether it was done, whether there's law broken here or not, this is a hunt. More
Well,
than
no,
it is.
you know what? They said something that was really funny to me was that said he must be really good for the porn store. I mean, for the the porn store worker to end up owing him.
Well, no, what happened was
the lawyer fees.
He paid hush money at the beginning.
And she
came
signed
out
the
and one.
NDA.
She came
And
out
she
and
signed the
signed
NDA.
it. He came out after that, wanted more. They paid her off again. She came out again, and this is the one they paid her off of. She came out again right before that. She literally violated the NDA 2 times. So yeah, she ended up having to pay him, even though she got Trump money check before Trump money checks were cool.
Let me play some of this. It's only 2 minutes, so we can get the audience on up to date on what we're talking about here.
Let me just jump in here and say that NBC News is now reporting that inside that courtroom, Donald Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying records, felony counts of falsifying business records. Andrew, what does that tell you?
So we'd heard reports about the 34. So this is confirmation. The felony counts is really interesting that there are no misdemeanors. Everyone had been talking about whether there would be this filing of false business records that can be charged as a misdemeanor and as a felony. It's very interesting that the choice was made here to only charge felonies. And I do think that we're going to be very interested in seeing how they get there. It does suggest to me real confidence in the case by the district attorney that they are not charging misdemeanors, that they think that their facts and legal theories as to why it is only felonies is appropriate here. It does suggest, I'd say, real confidence on their part. And it's worth noting, this is a district attorney who initially held off charging when he became the district attorney and said that this case was not ready. And it's only a year later that he has now said it's ready to proceed. And the fact that they're all felonies does suggest to me that there probably was something that happened, in whether it's witnesses or documents or both, in that intervening year while Alvin Bragg has been the new district
Well, Andrew,
attorney.
let me just jump in here because it's, according to NBC News, it's 34 counts of falsifying records and conspiracy. Now, NBC News is not reporting felony. Reuters and others apparently are. But right now, what we are reporting is 34 counts of falsifying business records and conspiracy.
So that would be very different. So it sounds like this is, we're in an information vacuum. Obviously the conspiracy count is one where I think people, including myself, thought that they might bring that in order to have the David Pecker, Karen McDougal information.
Anyways, so Trump pleads not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records.
Yeah. And you see, the biggest problem is, like, most people not really paying attention to the details. Like, this is stuff that happened before he became president. And, you're saying that you can only get him because, if he, like, it's, first of all, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like, this is something that they approved already. Like, this is just a bunch of wasted time because he's been investigated on that whole where the payment came from. Like,
Let me just jump in here
with
and
his lawyer. What happened with his lawyer when they discussed it the first time around?
It is about time. This is all about time and timing.
Wasting time, and but
No,
they don't
no, think
realize
about
that
it.
they're
They're going
helping him with his
to
campaign.
they're going to spend the next 8 to 12 months in discovery. which means that he's not going to be doing anything. But the lawyers, they're going to be going back and forth. Oh, this is this. What are these documents? What? All that's got to get argued out before any of the case really gets rolling. They're going to drag that out to about 6 to 12 or 8 to 12 months, which puts it right in the midst of
the
campaign
election
time.
Yeah.
So that's what this is about, tying him up and keeping him smeared for the election, whether they can prosecute him or not.
Yeah.
This is about preventing him to get presidency.
They're so
because they
intimidated
can't
by him.
impeach the man. They can't shut him down. I personally think it's a bad idea to have him as president again because he's tainted.
But I would say
just like Bernie is tainted.
How is he tainted?
He is
In
too
your
egotistical
opinion.
and narcissistic. He is not good for the country. If they had let him have his second term and all this crap didn't start, the whole insurrection,
That's the thing.
big quotes by the way, insurrection.
But that's the problem. Like that's one of the reasons why they
All of
mad with
this-
him, because they wanted Hillary to see all the stuff that they're doing now, and the reason why everything is such at a fast pace of trying to do certain things is because they expected that Hillary was going to be in office so that she could screw up shit, while she, or at least follow the agenda closely
Yeah,
to
they were
where they left
expecting
off
her.
with
They
Obama.
were expecting her to get a 4-year, a 2-term run.
Well, exactly, but that's what I'm saying.
And then I think they were going to try to bring
Trump
Michelle
winning-
Obama in.
Trump winning interrupted what they were doing to control the entire world. Like their whole idea to like when
Trump
they
running screwed both sides up.
no.
I don't
It did.
agree with.
They weren't ready for it. The Republicans weren't ready for it. Nobody was ready for it.
I know
I
because
think
he is such a force. He is such a force and cult of personality. What can you do? It's like, I want to be president. But I said I want to be president. Okay.
I think that the agenda's continued. This, they may have even got sped up. I mean, I think that what they wanted to get done, they still got done. Even though Trump got in there. And the other thing I wanted to say was this whole thing. I think you're right about this part, Doc. That the point is to try to mess with them related to the election. But the internet is the opposite. The people are the opposite. I think that it could have the opposite impact and actually catapult him into the damn presidency because people are gonna be like, oh, they're picking on him or whatever. Like it's gonna get more people onto his bandwagon. It could have that impact.
Well, I don't know, man. After all,
It
more
really
people voted for more people voted for Biden than Obama. Remember?
Yeah, but nobody believes that was real numbers. Nobody.
Hey, man, I'm just trying to state the less than obvious, or what they call obvious.
Well, yeah, I mean, dead people was voting. I mean, it's proof. It may not have been a big enough number.
Yeah,
nothing
was proven widespread, but there was enough little stuff that balances could be tipped with little stuff in the right states.
I understand.
I
mean,
mean,
get it.
there's states that flipped with less than 1,000 votes difference.
Well, I really believe that by them doing all this, they're giving him way more coverage, free coverage at that. And then every time that he's they want to ask questions or whatever, blah blah blah, it just pretty much gives him a chance to campaign more. Like, and then because they really are expecting him to be so angry and to have like he.
Well,
riling people up and this, that, and the other. But no, the most peaceful people are the MAGAs. The ones that's getting angry and wanting to tear up shit is the Democrats. They're the ones
if they pull this and do this timing right, and they do it during campaign time, he will be able to get free campaign time from the trial and not have to pay for it.
Well,
Meanwhile, they cannot exceed the amount of time. They have to have equal screen time, meaning either he's going to have to pay for campaign ads or they're going to play him on the news for free. And they can't play him on the news more than they give the other people time, because that is a violation of campaign laws and media agreement and stuff like that.
Well, and you know,
That's
it's
something that's
kind
been
of
going on since like the 50s or 60s, or actually the 80s.
well, you know, I think the Republican Party has been giving the Democrats enough rope to hang themselves, because they know, like, because pretty much everybody is kind of backed away from Trump on the Republican side, to say like, oh, like they don't really have anything, you know, they're not really promoting him or endorsing him.
I think Pence is going to sell him
Publicly.
out.
You think what?
I think Pence is going to sell him out in the January 6th trials.
I don't think there's anything to sell him out with.
He still hasn't testified yet.
Well, I know, but that's the thing. He was appealing it at first, but now he's not. So my thing is like, okay, if he really was endangering his family, like he really didn't want. I think that he didn't want to testify, because if he really has to be honest, he had to prove that he didn't. You know, like he wanted. I don't think he was trying to force him, like they try to make, like they said, to change the vote, since he was the vice president, so he was the head of
He was basically running the show for it.
Congress or whatever. Like he's the president of the.
He was either the House or the. He was there because the regular representative wasn't at the time. The one who normally holds the chair. Vice president does it when they're not there. I think something like that.
He's the president of that chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me throw this little monkey wrench in the campaign that's coming up. Robert F. Kennedy announced the 2024 presidential campaign.
President Biden is getting some competition for the Democratic nomination for one of the most powerful names in American politics. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has filed his paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to run for president. The environmental lawyer from California says his top priority will be to end the corrupt merger between state and corporate power.
Okay, so
and he's running.
I love that. Right? That no offense, any Kennedy that's gotten any taste of power since the first one ends up like the first one.
Well, this gonna throw an interesting dynamic in the race, because that means that
he's actually kind of a good and smart guy.
It's gonna be really interesting, because then that means that they're primarying. You know, Biden's gonna have to do a primary.
Oh, he already does. He already has to. There's 5 Democrats already, or that I last checked. I haven't checked this week. I normally check on. Check Thursday.
I don't believe Biden is running, bro.
He has declared. Biden is one of the 5 Democrats that has declared to run. Yang, I think, has.
Okay, he's declared and he's running.
There's like 2 or 3. Last I looked was last
he's running
week.
knowing that he's gonna lose. Like that's like
well, these guys fail upwards like Beto.
I don't know that, y'all. How can y'all say that he's gonna lose?
I'm surprised Beto hasn't done yet. He probably needs the House too.
It's the incumbent. Historically, the incumbent does really well.
Yeah, he does really well, but when he screwed up for the last 3 years, bro, come on, man. Like, nobody wants him to be president.
Here's the thing. Instead of starting about 80-20 like most incumbents do, he's going to be starting like 60-40.
No, lower than that, bro.
I'm saying this is just Democrats we're talking about. We're not talking about anything except the Democratic National Convention.
I'm going to say,
Democrats on Democrats.
Just following politics
would do better than Biden. right now.
Man, no, just following politics and knowing how the game goes.
This ain't the same old game as
AOC is actually qualified to run for president or vice president this time.
There's way too many more people that is politically literate these days. They understand a lot more and at least paying attention a lot more than they have before.
I think
since,
the Democrats
after Obama.
I think the Democrats are about to give up and spend 4 to 8 years building this new Democrat Party that we've seen over the last year.
Well, the Republicans need to do the same thing because their party is a mess. But what I'm saying is that the incumbent automatically has an advantage, a huge advantage, regardless of,
usually.
Well, that's why I'm saying 60-40 instead of 80-20. Because it's the potato.
Yeah, I mean, normally that is the case, Chaka, and I agree with you. Yeah, that's usually the case. Not
The man could plan his own surprise party.
But I don't think none of that matters. I ain't gonna even argue with that. But politically, it's what y'all have to take into.
All right, no, let me ask this question. So if Biden wins the primary, or no, are you voting for him for the primary?
No.
Are you going to vote in the primaries?
Probably not. I doubt very seriously if there be a candidate I'm be interested in.
Yeah, I'm a declared independent, so I can't vote in either Democratic or Republican.
What I'm saying, y'all talking about who I'm gonna vote for. Who I'm gonna vote for wouldn't have any impact either way. What I'm talking about,
we're asking if in the primaries.
I'm only asking that is because
we don't know who we should vote for yet.
Does he have your support?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so what makes you think that there's not many more people that feel the same way?
I'd pick him over Bernie.
Listen, let me tell y'all the reason why I think this way. It's because of the Democratic machine. It's all about the money. It's all about the fundraising. Okay, it's all about the ads. Okay, the DRC is gonna be behind Biden 100%, and they got loot. They got paper to spend, and that's what they're gonna do.
Yes, they would. They will spend enormous amounts of money. The same kind of money they spent with Hillary Clinton, and the same money they just spent with him this last time. But guess what? People still remember the dude falling up the stairs. Like, it's, him riding on that bicycle and not knowing how to stop and catch himself.
But you're underestimating the power of these ads. And you also,
no, I'm not.
The short-term memory of voters. They don't have, they don't, by the time the election comes around, they're going to be them forgot.
Of this country.
They're gonna be forgot about all of this shit, and then they're gonna have these ads.
Hey man, take that back.
They're gonna have these ads, and they're gonna be watching these ads, and the ads are gonna push them in whatever direction they,
Say, bro, how you gonna you gonna call these voters incompetent?
I'm not saying they easily manipulated. Let's say that. And short-term memory.
That's one way to say it, I guess.
Easily manipulated and short-term memory. And these ads are going to have a lot of power. So that's what it is.
I mean, I'm with you. I mean, to some extent, I hear you, and that's because I don't think that this is a normal time in life. Like there's like a lot of people know that bro, when people's lives are threatened with nuclear bombs and the president is just kind of like, oh well, I guess we just have to get nuked if that's the case. Like people don't forget that shit.
Well, the primaries will be interesting. That's the reason why I mentioned Kennedy running, because the primaries, the people who vote in the primaries are a different crowd.
But is he running as a Dem or a Repub?
Dem. He's running as a Dem. He's declared as a Dem.
He is such a conservative. I don't know why.
Well, it's gonna
the Kennedys mostly are Democratic.
No, say, bro, Trump was a Democrat before he ran for president.
Well, I mean, that's totally
No,
beside the point.
the Kennedys traditionally, as a family and stuff like that,
That's fine.
have really been behind infrastructure, welfare, social programs to help build things up. They always have been traditionally. So
no, I get it. I hear you, I understand your angle, but at the same time, I'm just calling out the fact that the way that he talks, the way like.
Oh, he wants to cut corporate and government ties. He go get shot. We know he will.
Oh man, don't say that. You got to be careful what you say. But listen.
Excuse me. Something bad is going to happen to him. It's a family curse.
He might suicide himself, or
let's just say the family curse.
But
I don't.
If he gets big enough to be threatening, that family curse is going to get him.
The primaries are going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be following this.
Well, I'm gonna just say this: Trump is very much close friends with the Kennedys. Always had been, always will be.
Yes, and that goes back to their families during Prohibition as well.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a closer tie with him with Trump than with the Democratic Party. Like, there's actual a personal relationship. So, and hey, you know what? Maybe that's the point. What we need, we actually need a good conservative that's carrying the Democratic name, so that we can actually get some common sense shit taken care of, and
But he's running as a D.
It doesn't matter what he's running as. Trump ran as an R, but he is a Democrat for 50 years.
Yeah, but that label carries a whole lot of weight for voters.
I know, and the voters need to be tricked.
Let's go into this. This is a story I really wanted to cover. Classified war documents detailing secret American and NATO plans for building up the Ukrainian military ahead of planned offensive against Russia were posted this week on social media channels. Am I sharing this? Okay, yeah. So it's, hold on, let me see. I think this clip right here explains it. Let's play it. It's 1 minute.
Минские переговоры, в которых ты сыграл, дали нам какое-то время для того, чтобы вооружить армию.
Minsk agreements gave us time to arm ourselves. Hold on, is that the beginning of it? Okay, wait. It says when we signed Minsk agreements, we knew that the war would be inevitable. Hold on.
The war.
We're talking about Ukraine now. It says, but we had to prepare for all those years, grow our army. Hold on. To be prepared for this war. Minsk agreements gave us time to arm ourselves. Hold on. Angela told about that recently. Hold on. I didn't know it was in another language. I know it's going to throw everybody off. It says, yes, she was right to say that because everybody thought it was Putin to want to win time. No, it was us to win time to give Ukraine an opportunity to recover, to improve its military capabilities. And that's the exact reason why we should defend the Minsk agreements, and that's the exact reason why we should defend the Minsk agreements, in which you played a big role. It's like something's missing out of there. They have to be defended because during those 7 years, Ukraine got the resources to strengthen itself. Another thing in which we outplayed Putin, except for Minsk agreements, is the year 2013, when we managed to overthrow Yanukovych, and we managed to hand over Ukraine to the EU. Yes, I think you played a big role in that back then. I still remember how you came to Elysee Palace with Bernard Henry Levy, and you were followed by Klitschko. It happens in the very beginning of the process. If you weren't there, there wouldn't be a maiden. So some documents came out. Let me see. It says both Holland and Merkel have admitted that Minsk was nothing but blatant treachery to buy time to arm Ukraine for a war with Russia. Russia is right. Everybody else is lying through their teeth. So prankster Vovan and Lexus posing as Petro Poroshenko got French ex-president Francois Hollande to admit the Minsk Accord were a NATO ruse to militarize Ukraine, and Western nations overthrew Ukraine's democratically elected government in 2014. Oh, so look, somebody added context. They said the Russian dub and subtitles on this video are fake and not an accurate translation of what was said. No question or statement by the interviewer or President Holland talk about overthrowing Ukraine's democratically elected government. So yeah, there is something wrong with this video. I noticed that.
The mistakes in the grammar that would be done in proper translation are not there. If you understand how you must understand when translating from one language to another, people must undertake things and are not exactly using words proper that would be like for a language that you are hearing.
Yeah. So
or
it
in
looked
this case, transferring to.
And it looked like a straight up transcript, and it also had missing part, like the order wasn't right or something. Like it was missing, it had gaps in it. Okay.
Like I say, there are basic grammatical mistakes that will come in an actual translation that we would notice that they're not going to fix because it's not the way it was said.
Now that makes sense. It is true that these documents came out because I saw that from multiple sources. I thought I had some more on that, but I don't see it. China MFA spokeswoman Mei Ying, history will tell who is truly standing on the right side upholding justice. The U.S. and the military bloc of NATO shoulder unshrinkable responsibilities on the Ukraine crisis. NATO is in no position to criticize or pressure China. That's what.
Did you see the video of the Africans that's wearing and marching in Russian military uniforms?
No, I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that. Check this one out.
And I heard that there's maybe some temporary powers that are I don't know if it's just temporary, but as far as who's supposed to be the head of the UN at this point, Putin.
I don't know how that would be the case. Check this out. It says Ukraine's great photographers. They also have good models and makeup artists. This woman living in peaceful Kyiv gets badly injured once a month. Poor soul. I hope she recovers soon. So this is tongue in cheek. It says, how many more times is this woman going to get injured? So they're showing that this is like, at least it looks like the same person. here. Can y'all see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, this kind of thing is what is happening a lot. It's like I mentioned the white helmets.
They look similar. I wish I could see an ear whirl or something like that, because there's also the pinch nose on one, the smooth on the other. It could be camera angles. I mean, they're very similar, and there's a lot of people that look a lot alike up there too.
Well, let me ask y'all something.
I'm not saying I'm like I say, I'm not saying it's not, and I'm not saying it's not a before and next month picture too.
Well, I still had a question. So, do you believe and do you know of any existence of crisis actors?
Right. So this is what I was saying. This is where I'm going with this is when they had the white helmets when they were in Syria and all of the pictures that was coming out of there at that time, and the evidence came out that all that stuff was staged. It was a bunch of staged videos and pictures to make things look a certain way. You
mean to tell me, like maybe like BLM, when they say whoever these people are, the Antifa, whoever you want to label these people as, but they show up, they do all these things. Maybe they starting the fires, they painting on people's buildings, they doing all these things. It's because a bunch of these people get paid to go and do these acts. This thing has been proven for over a decade, like since definitely since Obama was in office.
Well, so, not all the people, but maybe some. But I saw the story.
I'm not speaking for all, but I'm just saying like this.
Related to Black Lives Matter, a story came out that was concrete related to the FBI instigating situations related to the Black Lives Matter and instigating these people into, doing criminal acts.
And then, I would also have to say that, I mean, because my friend gets mad at me when I say stuff like this because he believes that everything that happened at the Capitol is just people just being themselves, but you don't think that that's the same thing that like people were paid to go in there and act or be the ones that's gonna do certain things and get certain immunities because they were asked to do that. I mean, these are just possible. These are just questions, bro. I mean, is it possible that because we already know that this thing exists, this is politics that trying to steer the thoughts of the common man to continue to entrust in this country, and that they're doing something like, oh, this is happening, but they're going in and changing laws based on something that didn't happen naturally, is the part that conflicts me.
Well, I want to since I mentioned this in a document, this is New York Times right here. Ukraine war plans leak prompts Pentagon investigation. Am I sharing? Okay. Classified documents detailing secret American and NATO plans have appeared on Twitter and Telegram. So this is by Helen Cooper and Eric Schmidt, April 6, 2023, New York Times. The leaked documents do not provide specific battle plans, but they offer a snapshot of time the American and Ukraine view as of March 1st of what Ukrainian troops might need for the campaign. It says, Washington, classified war documents detailing secret American and NATO plans for building up the Ukrainian military ahead of a planned offensive against Russian troops were posted this week on social media channels, senior Biden administration officials said. The Pentagon is investigating who may have been behind the leak of the documents, which appeared on Twitter and on Telegram, a platform with more than 500 million users that is widely available in Russia. Military analysis said the documents appear to have been modified in certain parts from their original format overstating American estimates of Ukrainian war dead and understating estimates of Russian troops killed. The modifications could point to an effort of disinformation by Moscow, the analyst said, but the disclosures in the original documents, which appear as photographs of charts of anticipated weapons deliveries, troop and battalion streams, and other plans, represent a significant breach of American intelligence in the effort to aid Ukraine. Biden officials were working to get them deleted, but had not, as of Thursday evening, succeeded. We are aware of the reports of social media posts, and the department is reviewing the matter, said Sabrina Singh, the deputy press secretary at the Pentagon. The documents do not provide specific battle plans, like how, when, and where Ukraine intends to launch its offensive, which American officials say is likely coming in the next month or so. And because the documents are 5 weeks old, they offer a snapshot of time, the American and Ukrainian view as of March 1st of what Ukrainian troops might need for the campaign.
That's some revealing information, actually, because if you look at what they're needing in their timeline estimate, it can tell you what kind of offensive they're going, what kind of terrain they're looking at, what kind of things they're trying to attack because of the weapons and all that. That's some pretty and I'm sorry, they had 3 minutes to stop it before it's on the internet forever.
Yeah, and if the Biden administration is trying to block something from the people from seeing something like this, I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? Automatically.
If the administration, we do not need a descriptor before that. It could be 44, 45, 46, 49, 82. I don't care. If the administration doesn't want us to see it, that makes me want to see it more.
Yeah. Let me read some more. It says, to the trained eye of a Russian war planner, field general, or intelligence analyst, however, the documents no doubt offer many tantalizing clues and insights. The documents mention, for instance, the expenditure rate of HIMARS, American-supplied high mobility artillery rocket systems, which can launch attacks against targets like ammunition dumps, infrastructure, and concentration zone of troops from a distance. The Pentagon has not said publicly how fast Ukrainian troops are using their HIMARS munitions. The documents do. Analysts said
these are weapons that we didn't take to Iraq with us. These are stuff that we weren't using in our warfares there. But man, we are sure shipping them over to them.
That's interesting.
And they're paying for them all. They're buying it with the money that we're loaning them.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, they're going to be in debt for the next 3 to 5 generations. Plus whatever the Russians take from them when they bend them over to barrel.
And they're losing so many troops. I saw a report that showed, it said all of the troops that the NATO trained, they're all dead. And I also saw something where it was like, they're making people fight. So it was like they were talking about.
You were talking about. It was the article where they were dressing them up and making them go civilians go scout.
Yeah, well, that was that story. I'm talking right now. I wanted to talk about how, like, I saw a story that said, transgender men or whatever, like, they have to go fight if whatever their birth, if they were born a male.
Oh yeah, the whole Eastern Bloc, Russia, Ukraine, all that area, they don't play the transgender game.
Yeah. So, but specifically in Ukraine,
they don't even know gay people. Matter of fact, one of the first big protests that was for the gay community and stuff like that ended up with quite a few deaths and stuff like that from the state in Russia.
Well,
they're just like, we don't play that kind of crap, which is part of the reason why they targeted. I think they targeted Brittany Griner.
Well, specifically in Ukraine, though, they've lost so many troops that they're forcing able-bodied men to fight. So,
well, yeah, they're going the same way like Israel and a lot of other countries do. You're male, you're gonna fight. Yeah. Israel It don't matter whether you're male or female. Every single citizen has to serve, I think, a 2-year minimum military term.
Yeah, but
And
Israel is different.
You can't get it offset either. Like if you're a star, a movie star, or something like that, they might let you do your movies for a little bit, but you still have to serve at a later date. You cannot put it off.
Well, Israel is different because they just
China's about to start doing it again.
The way Israel does it, it's kind of like a vacation for these people. Like they are proud to do it. They want to go do it. It's fun. It's like, because it's not real war. They are, it's totally different. That you can't compare Israel the way that they do it.
Okay, I met Deborah Winger back in the 80s. Did you know that she could friggin' field strip pistols and submachine guns? The actress Deborah Winger.
Yeah. Well,
she was raised in Israel. She spent 2 years there. It was not playtime. She could field strip and shoot and all of that crazy stuff. Stuff that will make men go, holy crap, I either love you or I'm terrified of you.
Well, what I'm saying is they taking little vacations. They're not at war. They have superior freaking they're shooting, like you said, shooting fish in a barrel. They're shooting fish in a barrel over there, bro.
No, they're in a barrel shooting out at fish. The thing about Israel is they are surrounded by nations that want nothing more than the end of Israel. Palestine, Hamas in Palestine. Just literally 3 years ago, their motto was death to all of Israel. Before, they decided, we're not going to do that now that we're, and we're going to try to be more peaceful now.
Oh, man. Anyway,
I know there's multiple sides on that, and of course they were given the country and never should be. There's all kinds of sides on that one. But the current trend is to bash them as being horrible, when you're not going to look back and go, well, the very first thing that happened once they were told you have a country now was to get invaded from 5 sides.
Well,
literally,
they put themselves in that situation. They totally they dissecting the Arab world. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. No,
I'm not talking about any of the bullshit and fucked up stuff that's gone on since all that. But like I said, you're saying, where does it start? Where do you want to start saying this is when they turn bad, or they've always been? Because what you're saying is, they turn bad at this point, or they've always been. And I'm like, well, again, this is another one of those things where you've got nations invading. And this is a war that's been going on for 10,000 freaking years between these people.
They invaded Palestine. Palestine was intact before they went over there. Come on, man.
Actually, Israel did not invade anyone at the beginning. They were invaded.
They didn't exist.
And then nature. No. Okay. Yeah. Here's where. Okay. Yeah. We need to stop here now, because you are literally on the verge of saying they never had the right to their own country, which historically is theirs. So if you want to give reparations, to American Indians and shit like that, then why can't you understand that this is traditionally where these people came from?
No, it wasn't.
This is their indigenous land.
No, absolutely not. They came from somewhere else.
Like every other. And guess what? The indigenous people of the Americas came from somewhere else.
Let me read some more.
When do we draw the line?
Let me read some more of this article right here, because that's a whole show right there. It says, analysts said on Friday it could be difficult to assess the impact of the document's disclosure on the frontline fighting now and in the coming months. Russia's own recent offensive has struggled to make gains in eastern Ukraine, and Western analysts debate whether the Russian military, after suffering staggering casualties, is capable of mounting another or resisting a Ukrainian attack. It was unclear how the documents ended up on social media, but pro-Russian government channels have been sharing and circulating the briefing slides, military analysts said. This is freaking, this shows how like the freaking New York Times are so, they are not unbiased, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
They're very supportive of the left.
Well, and they're very supportive of Ukraine and anti-Russian and supportive of NATO.
Well,
and
everyone was blaming the Republicans through the whole Iran thing and stuff like that about, oh, well, they're all sucked up to the military-industrial complex, and that's why, and blah, blah, blah. And now, all of a sudden, we had a Republican actually get us the frick out of that war. So dumbass Potato goes and picks a fight between two other countries so we can get right back into it. Despite the fact that we used originally we used Afghanistan and Iran to financially break Russia in the first place. All through the 80s and 90s, Star Wars, all the stuff we kept pushing down into Middle East. And they financially ran out of money. They couldn't handle it. And all that. Again, another thing about us being involved in an area of the world that's been at war for 10,000 years, and everyone except them needs to really just keep the freak out of it.
Yeah, so this one, they said, when asked by journalists why the U.S. left several $1 billion worth of weapons to the Taliban in Afghanistan, John Kirby demonstrated wonders of ingenuity by saying the equipment was not American. That's an interesting little tidbit there. Like, what did he mean by that?
I guess if it was there for the Afghanistan military, if we gave it to them, that technically it was their military's property, and they abandoned it.
That don't make sense.
It doesn't seem to address the $7 billion in military hardware,
right? Yeah,
the technology
political
that was left
doublespeak.
in Afghanistan for the Taliban. You know, the president took office in January. The withdrawal happened in August. Does the president take responsibility for leaving all or some of that?
You know who was responsible for that equipment? The Afghans. Because you know why? It was their equipment. First of all, I don't believe the number is accurate, but let's put the number aside, the $7 billion. There was very little, and I mean very little, U.S. owned equipment or U.S. operated equipment that we left when we left Afghanistan. I'm talking like some forklifts at the airport, and some ladder vehicles, some fire trucks that we were using at the airport. But the helicopters that we left there, all disabled, so the Taliban couldn't get them flying again. Whatever ground vehicles like MRAPs or Humvees, they were all disabled at the airport. Everything else outside of that airport, the stuff that's at Bagram or you pick the base in Afghanistan, was all turned over in according with a very elaborate, deliberate, retrograde plan that the U.S. military put in place to turn over all that stuff to the Afghan military. And the Afghan military, as I said in my opening statement, decided they weren't going to fight for their country, that they were just going to leave it behind. So it is the Afghans who were responsible for the turnover of all that equipment.
And looking through
So comments on that.
Damn, I think I actually walked through his entire announcement before you played it. Honestly, I've never seen that before. Yet somehow I knew that was exactly what was going to be said.
Yeah, so the news was saying, we left all this
spin doctor.
They were like, we left all this equipment in Afghanistan. They have all this, Taliban has all this equipment that we left over there, da 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 da. That was heavy in the news right after all of that stuff happened.
Oh yeah, I even posted a meme that had the guy that was the head of the Taliban up and said, "We would like to thank the American taxpayer for your support in our war."
Yeah. So apparently, from what he's saying is they turned the stuff over to the government of Afghanistan, and Afghanistan government just left it for the Taliban. Well, that makes a lot of sense, though. I don't think that he's lying. I think that was a truthful statement. So, because
I think he believed it was the truth.
Well, they were supposed to be liberating Afghanistan or whatever, right? So then it would make sense that they would have protocols or whatever to turn over equipment to the actual Afghanistan government, you know, in a case where when they were leaving. So, but the Taliban is not necessarily, well, they are the government of Afghanistan now, but they, you know, that wasn't the necessarily official Afghanistan government. So it was supposed to be the people, you know, the people of Afghanistan, you know, the official government or whatever. So that makes sense. But what people probably don't understand is that the people of Afghanistan, a lot of them wasn't cool with the United States being over there. They felt like they were, you know, invaded. So that's the reason why they handed the stuff over to the Taliban, because they didn't, you know, they wasn't happy with the United States being over there in the first place. Did you see the clips of the Al-Aqsa Mosque? And it's during Ramadan, and they stepping on people and kicking people and pushing them over in Israel. It happened earlier this week.
Yeah, this is a whole new thing that I haven't explored yet because I've been just busy enough that I haven't been able to stop and absorb. But there's been like Tel Aviv attacks, a response by Israel that was way beyond what was necessary, I think. And despite the argument that the discourse that we just had, no, I am not a big fan of the way Israel's acting. Yeah, I just think going back with history and stuff like that, it's a lot. There's a lot more. You know, they're not. Again, here we are in the Russian-Ukraine system. They're not the bad guy, but they're definitely not being friggin' good guys.
Yeah, so
the shit that they've done to Palestine after the point I was trying to identify is less than called for.
Yeah, so there's new fighting over there. It really started with them messing with the people in the mosque. So then I saw a report where maybe a couple of rockets, you know, attacked into Israel, and then Israel came back hardcore. So
that's been the thing about Israel is when you come at them, they come back hard.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Like I said, a lot of this stuff, everyone's all the occupation of Palestine and stuff, and I'm like, well, most of that has happened in retaliation to attacks and aggressive movements. And then they're like, oh, you mess with us? Okay, well, guess what? We just extended our borders a half a mile.
And they keep on doing, and they've been doing that.
Now,
so
do it again, see what happens.
Yeah. So this is Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan addresses the latest attacks on Al-Aqsa compound by Israel occupation forces on Wednesday. I hope this is in English.
Türkiye bu saldırılar karşısında asla sessiz
It's not, but
they got captions.
Captions are hopefully close enough.
It says Turkey can never remain silent.
Türkiye bu saldırılar karşısında asla sessiz ve
and inactive in the face of these attacks.
Hareketsiz kalamaz. Mescid-i Aksa'ya el uzatılması,
Al-Aqsa is a red line.
Harem-i Şerif'in kutsiyetinin ayaklar altına alınması bizim kırmızı çizgimizdir. Kudüs'e gerektiğinde
Our Palestinian brothers and sisters who defend Jerusalem
canları pahasına sahip çıkan Filistinli kardeşlerimiz yalnız
with their lives when necessary are not alone.
değildir. Müslümanların ilk
On behalf of my country and nation,
kıblesine yönelik alçak eylemleri
I condemn the despicable acts towards the first of the Quibbles.
ülkem ve milletim adına kınıyor. Bu saldırıların bir an
I call for these attacks to be stopped immediately.
önce durdurulması çağrısında bulunuyor. Türkiye bu
Yeah, but is he going to back those words up with any kind of actions? I wonder if I have any of the clips of the part where they was attacking the people in the mosque. Let me see. I think that was on Instagram. Hold on, y'all.
Iran kind of scares me when Iran wants to sit there and say, we need to take advantage of this shift in global power.
Yeah. So, well, China is brokering, you know, Iran and Afghanistan. They're cool, and it's a lot going on with that. We talked about that.
Oh, no, yeah. All these countries that we've been pissing off since the 80s are starting to form up.
Yep.
And I don't really blame them. But I think we should really stop fucking around and concentrate on allying the Americas. Not by force, coercion, all that, but literally by trade and support.
Yeah, but I don't see us doing that.
Well, hell no. First of all, we gotta shut our shit down and get home taken care of. We need another one of those big infrastructure pushes instead of all of this stupid freaking global warming. We need to fix some highways. We need to get our rails fixed. The rail system is only used by private individuals, and they're not upkeeping them. Private companies are the only people that transfer stuff by rail. Well, I'm sure Army may have a couple of trains. I don't know, or maybe they put stuff on other people's trains. I don't know. But either way, obviously, as we've seen, our rail system needs a little help. I mean, but have you noticed that none of these lines that have been interrupted have been passenger lines? It's all been chemical, bad chemical, which makes me wonder if it's as much bad lines or bad rails as it is something targeting, trying to make a message. Let us know that this, because I'm sorry, the stuff that they were doing in Ohio was gas that shouldn't even have existed in our day and age. There is no real use for it.
Let me play this clip. This is the one. This is a clip that's got everybody really upset in the Muslim world. Let me play this.
Yeah, I'm already not cool with that.
They were just praying.
President Biden is getting some competition.
Yeah. I've seen enough protests Now, this is the stuff that we need to talk about. The other one, there's two possible ways that can go. This is not.
Let me read the captions. It says, Israeli police stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque during the Muslim month of Ramadan. They claim Palestinian protesters locked themselves inside with fireworks. The police broke down doors and windows before dawn. And they fired stun grenades and rubber bullets. It says they attacked us inside there. All the young people inside are suffering and no one is helping them. What are you waiting for? They attacked everyone inside. The windows of the mosque are all broken. God is great. Worshippers cannot stay there overnight during much of Ramadan, according to an agreement. Several Muslim nations condemned Israel's attack. Over 400 Palestinians were arrested. Hours later, Israeli police cleared the way for Jewish worshippers to enter the Al-Aqsa compound. And again clashed with Muslim worshippers. Al-Aqsa Mosque sits on the site that is sacred for both Muslims and Jews. In 2021, clashes at Jerusalem's holiest site started an 11-day war between Israel and Hamas. There is concern that tensions could escalate in April as Ramadan, Passover, and Easter overlap. After the raid, Palestinian militants fired at least 9 rockets from Gaza into Israel. Israel responded with a series of airstrikes on suspected militant sites in Gaza. Okay, so that's the present situation.
Overreaction on overreaction on overreaction. Escalation when it's supposed to be the holiest of days for all 3 Abrahamic religions, which strangely enough, all worship the same God, just choose different paths to do it.
Can you hear me? My mic went out. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I've got one more clip related to this. But that's up. Here it is. Am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing.
Not at the moment.
Hold on. Up, guy making comments on this topic. Boom.
This framing of this as some kind of religious conflict, as some kind of like civil war between 2 communities trying to live.
Come on. Come on.
With each other. There is a pop. this framing of this as some kind of religious conflict, as some kind of like civil war between two communities trying to live with each other. There is a population, millions of people that are under the mercy and under the rule and under a military occupation of the other population. That is the status quo here. And the escalation does not begin or end with rockets. Living under occupation day in and day out is an escalation. I am so amazed that despite how far removed you are from the matter, despite the clear lack of expertise and experience on Palestine, you somehow seem to possess the same level of entitlement that Balfour possessed when he declared Palestine a home for the Zionists, as if it was his to get. With this framing of this as some kind of religious conflict, as some kind of like civil war between two communities trying to live with each other. There is a population, millions of people that are under the mercy and under the rule and under a military occupation of the other population. That is the status quo here. And the escalation does not begin or end with rockets. Living under occupation day in and day out is an escalation. I am so amazed that despite how far removed you are from the matter, despite the clear lack of expertise and experience on Palestine, you somehow seem to possess the same level of entitlement that Balfour possessed when he declared Palestine a home for the Zionists, as if it was his to get. With this framing.
Okay. You want to make comments? Anybody? Can y'all hear me?
That's crazy, bro. Yeah. Yeah, we can. I hear you.
Crazy ass world that we live in. Crazy world we live in. Insane. Yeah. Ain't much I can say. I mean, I think that a lot of people don't really freaking understand what is. That's the reason why I cover. What the fuck did I do? That's the reason why I cover this stuff, is because no one really gets it. The media is more biased on this topic than probably anything else. Yeah,
it's crazy how the Muslims are hated around the world, bro. When it's governments that built radical Islam, in my opinion.
So April 6th, it says, breaking: Israel is now bombing Tyre, South Lebanon in the middle of the night. In the last 3 days alone, Israel has dropped bombs on Syria, Palestine, and Lebanon. Where is the global outrage? Where are the calls for sanctions? Where is the International Criminal Court? It says, not to forget, Israel occupation forces brutally beating Palestine worshippers at the Al-Aqsa Mosque only a few days ago. And of course, zero Western condemnation, little to no mainstream media coverage, a stark reminder of the blatant hypocrisy at play in the Western world's supposed commitment to human rights. Yeah. Yeah. The media is not covering this. If they do, they're covering it really with soft hands, kid gloves, and biased as hell.
Like I say, it's one of those 10,000-year-old conflicts that we should stay the frick out of as a country.
This is not no 10,000-year-old conflict. Israel is what? How old is Israel? Israel is younger than the United States.
Okay, we going to draw a line there? Are we going to talk about how this area of the world has been at war for as long as I've been talking about? Seriously. Okay, so what you're saying is you promote the idea of indigenous people in America getting their lands. However, a people that proves that they had settled there thousands of years before anyone else in the area does not deserve that?
Their proof is the Bible.
No, their proof is more than the Bible.
Their proof is the Bible.
No, it's not though.
The hell out of here, bro.
Your proof is the Bible. Their proof is archaeology. Their proof is sociology.
If you use archaeology, the people don't have absolutely no rights to that land. Absolutely none. If using archaeological evidence, you could use genetic evidence that would exclude them.
You need to show those because I've seen otherwise. It might be stuff that I haven't seen because it's popped up in the last 10, 20 years. But yeah.
Yeah, that's my area of study, bro. Like I've done.
No, your area of study is Haiti.
Well, I've done a lot of research over there because I'm really freaking because all of the stuff that people say about it is what made me dig deeper because I'm like, I don't understand. And whenever it's something I don't understand, I want to understand it better. And that's what I did. So,
and another thing you're saying is you are literally discounting the Bible in its entirety, despite the fact that there is it is still historical documents, even though change and stuff. Have you not read Gutenberg Bible? Have you not read pre-canon? You know, it's all involved. You're like I say, you're saying there's more to it. I'm saying yes, there is. You want to say 1952 or 1950s or whatever it was is your dividing line? Okay, then the 1950s is the dividing line for reparations, apologies, and everything across the entire conversation of everything.
You can't do that.
No, why not? You're doing it.
That's not what I'm doing.
But you are. You're saying this is the date. Nothing before this matters. There is no historical anything other than that, other than from this date forward.
They don't have no evidence before that date. Check this meme out right here. It says, "It's so weird being raised by Christians and spending your entire childhood being told to care about others. Then one day they're just like, you're not actually supposed to care about others, you stupid socialists." What do you think about that?
Here we go. You're meme bashing now.
This is a meme somebody put, and I'm just reading it.
Dude, and I can read a whole couple of hundred others and stuff like that. This is just one that's a little supportive to your side. What about it? Are we are we memeing now? Because I actually write memes against both sides.
Do you write memes against people that believe that we should be disarmed? And then we start a GoFund and put billboards up?
Depends on the subject and the time. I've done some gun control memes on both sides, but most of them make fun of people that are trying to take them away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my both sides tend to go towards social issues less than militant and economic too, but
we shouldn't make memes making fun of people. Everybody's entitled to their beliefs and how they feel and what they believe.
Oh yeah. Well, like I say, the last meme, a matter of fact, I made one the other day. You know, I did one of those safe flags, and it was safe from feeling threatened about rainbows on my beer can today.
That stuff is hilarious. That is hilarious.
Those are the kind of memes that I make. Like, I put the Taliban guy on there and said, "Thank you, American people, for funding our, country."
We just showed a clip. They got Humvees and helicopters and everything.
If I'm not mistaken, don't the Saudis actually own Budweiser now? They bought it like several years ago.
No, 15 years ago, it was sold to a Belgian and I want to say Brazilian company, Ambev. But yeah, they're not. They haven't been an American company for a little more than 15 years.
I didn't know
And
that.
by the way, Jim Beam is, if I'm not mistaken, either a Chinese or Japanese company now.
I didn't know that. I thought both of those were American. Well, United States.
Well, you got to realize, I am really having fun explaining to hipsters when they want to drink their IPA that you do realize that Imperial Pale Ale was made by the East India Trading Company to stay fresher longer so they could take it to the colonies and trade for raw goods and materials and things like that, because it got them drunker and it stayed fresher longer and they could get it further. So they're literally drinking a beer invented by and for colonizers.
Let me cover this.
And then their beer gets salty because they cry in it.
And then we're probably gonna wrap it after this. But this is something that happened this semester here at my school. This guy in this photo right here. Let me read the caption. I posted this and I took this photo. It says, one of the two who jumped from Agnes Arnold building in the last 2 months. The building is now closed indefinitely. RIP, so young and full of life. Why would he do this? I had a class in that building this semester and it has been relocated. So this building at the University of Houston is different from other buildings on campus. It has open ledges. It's about 5 floors, I want to say. Maybe 6 floors, 5 or 6 floors. And it has open ledges, and it has like a walkway overhang, and it also has like a basement area where classes are in there also, which and it has like a garden or patio area, outside area. So the way it's a really old building. So basically you could jump off of this building, and that's what these people did. So two students within a month or two, within a month, I think, they jumped off this building to their death. And so that they've restricted access to this building now and relocated all of the classes out of there. And they're probably going to not use this building in the future. At least that's what the emails were seeming like they were saying. Because they said the building is closed indefinitely now. So they don't want to give the kids access to this building because it's like, I talked to one of the counselors and they were saying that, you know, it kind of gives the option, you know what I mean? The other buildings are all closed in. The windows don't really open. There's no access to the roof and stuff like that. So like in the other buildings, you can't jump out of it. You get what I'm saying? I want to say this is the only building that's like that.
It's not
on campus. I'm not sure on that. Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
It's not. It's just the easiest one.
So, yeah. So this
is not the first time this building and others have come into question.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had my Spanish class was in that building this semester.
Again, here we go to broken people problem. Costing the university millions or $100,000 plus a year because now they have to shut down that building.
Yeah, well, what about, looking at it from the perspective of like stressing the university, stressing these kids out, and I don't know, like not giving them support.
So it's the university's fault that they decided to take their own lives.
I'm not blaming the university.
You just did.
No, I'm not blaming the university. I'm saying
You
that
literally just said if they weren't stressing them out so much.
what support services are they offering these kids?
Well, see, that's for you to answer and find out because you go there. I could get the answer in a few minutes and probably find more than you realize.
Well,
the question is, do they take advantage of those resources? Are those resources easily available for someone who does not know how to search for them like I do? Or who has access to the handbook, student handbook, like you do?
The only reason why I want to cover this is just to say that it's really unfortunate.
It's horrible. It's freaking horrible. And I'm not, I want that. Yeah.
Yeah. Super unfortunate and very, very sad. And it pretty much hit real close to home for me. Like I say, the class is now in the hotel, the Hilton. They have classrooms in that building, and that's where they moved my class this semester. So this directly impacted me is what I'm saying in that specific way, but in other ways too. In my other class, I have a class called Mobile Solidarities. It's an anthropology class, and basically we just go in there and talk about stuff. We read stuff, and then we go in there and talk about stuff. And we spent a couple of class periods talking about, mental health related to the students and stuff like that. I really enjoying that class. It's great. One of the reasons why I go to school is for these kind of classes, the Mobile Solidarities class. And it's unfortunate that the university didn't renew the instructor's contract. So this class won't be available next semester for other students. She's leaving after this, and she was the only one who was doing this particular content. And I don't know. I'm about to graduate. I'm about to be done. I only have like a few classes left to take. So, but it'll affect other students. They won't have the opportunity to take this class, and I think it was really, really nice. It's one of the reasons why I go to the university is for classes like this one.
So, what's your actual degree going to be in?
It's anthropology with a minor in communications.
Okay. So I'm education major with specialty in special education and communications, vocal communications specialty.
Yeah, so mine is just it's like a basic liberal art, College of Liberal Arts and Social Science degree. So it's like it's a liberal arts degree.
Well, I do have an unaccredited psychology degree that I got during the pandemic. That if I pay them $22,000, they'll actually give me because I completed the classes and had all the grades in psychology. Abnormal psychology, human childhood development, and stuff like that was my specialty there. Criminal psychology, stuff like that.
Well, I really enjoy learning about this stuff that I learn about, and I really can't explain how great it is, the feeling I get when I go to like this specific class, and when I'm leaving out of that class, the feeling that I have when I leave out of the class, like I really can't explain it. Like, so like it's stuff money can't buy. the conversations that we have, you know, are priceless in that class. You know, the experience of being there with those students and having these conversations that we have are
that's what I hate about my online situation that I'm having to do, is I don't get the interaction like I did when I was going to the classes.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
like
doing
online.
the work. I'm doing the work. I'm really doing the thinking. I'm doing all that, but I don't have that bounce back from other minds.
And that part is so invaluable. It's so great.
Like I say, it's the conversation that matters.
And in this class, that's all we
Which
do
is
is
what
talk.
we're trying to do here.
All we do in this class is talk. The whole freaking class is just conversation. It's great. It's really great because really intelligent students, and then the instructor kind of guides us in directions, and you know, and then we talk about it, and it's really great, really, really, really great. I can't explain how much, you know. So that's what I go to school for. Like you know, people would say that it's a waste for me to take a degree like this or whatever, but I can't explain the satisfaction that I get from doing this. Like, money isn't what I'm motivated in. What motivates me, it's the knowledge, the information.
Let me explain something to you right now. You have a 4-year degree in your belt.
About to, not quite yet.
I'm just saying that's what we're tucking in. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about you are building from there. Doesn't matter what your degree is. You go back, you take your CLEP, college learning something preparation. It basically, you take your different subjects and stuff like that, and it allows you to become certified as a teacher. So for about 12 to 20 hours more, you will always have a job. They will always need teachers.
And I would love to do that. I would love to teach.
See,
so
I've
that's
got
what
2
I
year
might
degrees
end up doing.
unaccredited. I have 2-year degrees that are credited, 8-year degrees unaccredited, and a 6-year degree unaccredited, and 2 4-year degrees all unaccredited. I've done the work. I just can't afford to pay for the classes, if you understand that.
Right. Oh, I understand that. If it wasn't for financial aid, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, like I say, I've done all the classes and the classwork, but I do not get my grades or my degree released until I pay for taking the classes.
Yeah. Man, let me ask y'all this. So, like, all right, let's say, like, you go to college, right? And you get a degree, and this is something that you're truly passionate about, right? And you go work in this, but you're not making the money that you need to make in order to pay back your financial aid, pay back your student loans, you know, barely get ahead. Like how does that, I guess for me, you know, and I know money can't always be the motivator, but I guess for me it's like I think about that. Like, you go to school and you spend all of these thousands of dollars. Some people probably spend hundreds of thousands, or at least 100 or better, you know, like, you go the rest of your life paying minimum payments on this shit, you know, and never truly getting out of that debt, and, you know, and they're holding that over your head. Like,
well, what I would say about that is that the system shouldn't be the way that it is, and it's fucked up. But
first of all, any 2-year degree or trade or 2-year trade degree should be subsidized anyway.
Because my thing is this.
My student loan debt was less than $20K. I think $20K is actually what everybody should get toward their education.
My thing is this, right?
It's
you can go.
Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. Like, to me, I don't get that. Like, you can go do a 2-year associates for process technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And go work in a refinery or go work in a chemical plant and make pretty much, if you're willing to, work in there, get a few days of overtime here and there, throughout the year, make triple what a teacher making, you probably only end up spending like $25,000 for the 2-year, because you can go to just a regular community college for that.
12 to 18K
Okay,
is about what it will cost you to do 2 solid years, a 2-year degree.
Okay, now a
at
teacher
a
has to
community
go.
college.
A teacher has to go and get a
4
4-year
years.
degree.
Yes.
A 4-year degree, and probably end up being somewhere in the ballpark between. You think about the money that they spent for college, okay, then their room and board, all of that type of stuff, probably come out of college with a debt of $50,000-$60,000 somewhere around in there by the time
no,
you add interest in it.
On the cheap end, what I've looked at, not what most people know, but I'll go with what can be found. We'll say for your next 2 years, it's going to double. 30,000 on the low end if you do well.
But Deuce, though, let me ask you this: do you not think that?
That's still $30,000 of debt, because by this time your FAFSA has already been run out on your 2-year degree.
Deuce.
Or since you have a degree, you no longer qualify.
So should everybody go and get engineering degrees or whatever? Or should everybody? Do we not need teachers? Let me ask you this: what about people just learning stuff that they want to learn just because they want to learn that stuff? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's fine. That's fine and dandy.
Well,
I think that's a perfect thing to educate yourself or further your education. But I think that's perfect. But it's like, what I just looking like, I'm around teachers because of my wife's career. Okay, and it's like, most female teachers are like, they'll tell you like, dude, if I wasn't married to a husband that makes $100,000+ a year or $200,000 a year, like, I would be poor. Like, I couldn't have. You think about it, majority of teachers can't afford to pay $1,800 a month rent and a car note and put a kid through daycare.
A minimum teacher's salary starts around 32 to 36 a year. And no offense, I'm a server that works 6 nights a week, and I'm not horrible at my job, but I'm still only making 24K a year.
Look, dude.
I'm finna answer.
Your logic is fine. But
I was
what
trying
about?
to answer your point. I was trying to answer your point because I know where you were going with it. But and I feel like that's fine. What the point that I'm trying to make is that I feel like that's bullshit. Like, they're underserved. They're underpaid. Like they go to school to do something. To go to school, to say I'm gonna go to school and be a teacher, you gotta have a want to make a difference. To try to make a difference in. Let me finish it. To try to make a difference in someone's life, and teach these kids the right way and give them the knowledge that you have. But you're doing all of this, and you can't even survive in today's economy, which I think that's bullshit. Like, I think about that. It's like, so it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It puts me in the mind frame of that if I'm gonna go to college and have to pay this money back, because I don't want to be in debt with that shit. I don't want them taking my fucking tax dollars or garnishing my wages or taking money out of my paycheck, every fucking pay period to pay this stuff back. So it's like, for me, if I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna try to get something that I know that I can not only provide for myself, but get myself out of that debt, like keeping them from holding that shit over my head, and it's like.
And what you're saying makes sense, bro. It's totally logical and everything. But looking at it though, look at it in a bigger picture. Because if everybody just looked at it economically logical, then we would have no teachers, we have no artists, we have no social workers. Do we not need them kind of people? You know?
Yeah, we do, and they need more.
So we would have none if everybody went to school with the logic that you have.
Well, I say that looking at it from in this day and age, in this perspective, you know, but even still, there's still people that's going to school to be teachers and stuff, and that's great. That's a great. But
I'm sorry, if you want to softball your degree, I'm not the biggest idea of you being a teacher.
What do you mean?
You know, if you're going to do underwater basket weaving, gender studies and stuff like that, and then want to turn around and go, well, I can't get a degree, so I'm going to be a teacher. That's what's going on right now.
Well, what I'm saying is,
and I'm not, and mind you, I'm like using the gender studies and stuff like that. I'm using it as example. I'm not like, oh, because yeah, I understand the degree more than most people realize, but I'm using it as the big one right now because the number of gender studies degrees went up by 2,000% a few years ago. 2,000%.
Yeah, but do we not need more people who understand that stuff? That's the reason why we have the political climate that we have right now, is because people don't understand this stuff at all. They don't.
No,
get it
we have
at
the
all.
political climate we have right now because they don't understand that you actually need to work with people instead of overpower them and tell them they're bad people because they believe this way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And what Deuce is saying is logical, bro. It's Deuce, you're very logical thinking, and there's nothing wrong with thinking like that. But if everybody went at it that way, then look at what we would lose. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get, yeah, no, definitely,
okay.
I get it.
Everybody is an engineer.
I'm going to say one thing right now.
Everybody's a lawyer?
A minimum teacher's yearly salary. Everyone is saying $36,000 a year, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it shouldn't be $36,000 a year before taxes. It should be $36,000 in their pocket.
It should be way more than that.
No, I'm sorry. If you can't survive and live off of $3,000 a month within reason,
$3,000
I'm talking starting. I'm talking beginning. You walk into it. I'm not talking about getting better. I'm not talking about specialties and things like that. I'm saying
$3,000 a month is trash, bro.
You make $3,000 a month,
bro. I make about $1,000 a week.
Well, you know what?
As a server,
you're literally making double what I do, and I work 6 days a week.
And I don't work 6 days a week. I get 2 days off every week.
Yeah. So, and I'm actually pretty damn good.
$3,000 a month is trash.
What kind of restaurant you work at that you're not? Look, I got a buddy of mine, Hispanic guy. He works at Discount Tire part-time. He quit the management position at Discount Tire, went to a part-time fucking tire changer just to go work at the Mexican restaurant by the house that he worked at all through high school. Why? Why did he do that? Because he makes more there in a night than he was making a week as a manager for Discount Tire. He's making just in tips alone on like busy, especially busy nights, man. He fucking clear anywhere between $500 to $700 a night. And this is in League City. So I mean, it's like, so when I hear you say that, I'm not down to you. I don't mean no disrespect, but I'm just like, what fucking are you at a restaurant where it's nothing but poor people that go in that motherfucker? Are you at a truck stop where you got truck drivers?
I am surviving off of $1,600 to $1,800 a month. A good month for me is $2,000 to $2,200. Why do you think I'm so like about understanding about budgeting, this, that, not spending, things like that? I'm literally, that's what I've got. And we got 3 people living in the same fucking place that I am right now. And no one is making much more than that per month.
Well, man.
And we're still barely making it.
Like I said,
Just trying to catch up on the pandemic debt that we incurred.
I don't know like what restaurant you're at, but man, with your knowledge and being able to be funny and entertain people I'm sure you can go to fucking Saltgrass somewhere downtown and rack up just the tips
I'm
$1,000,
blackballed.
$1,500 a week.
I'm blackballed in the area because Chewy's, Outback, and Bennigan's. The only place I've been able to find a job at is a mom and pop place. All the chains, for some reason, only want to offer me prep cook or dishwasher jobs. Say, I pissed somebody off. And I don't know who, and I don't know how or why.
Yeah, well, the argument, the point we was talking about was like, we need different people to do different jobs. So everybody's motivation can't just be to make the most money. I was chopping it up with this guy, and I looked up because I'm planning on going to graduate school, and I was looking at the highest paid degree plans and stuff like that, and one of them was cyber tech, and that field is booming. I was chopping it. I went to the bar and I chopped it up with this guy who was about to graduate, or he had graduated, or he was about to graduate. I can't remember. Cyber tech, and he said that Houston is not a good city to be in, even though we have a lot of that industry is strong here. The problem is so many people have that degree and vying for those jobs. It's hard to find a job because there's so many people who are going at it.
Because we're in Houston, it fucking sucks here, and we all look up what is the best paying job that I can get.
And that's what I'm telling you, because I was thinking about doing the cybersecurity myself.
Why do you think more nurses come out of Houston than almost any other city?
Hey Doc, I know something you could possibly do if you want to look into it. Your computer, so you know your way around the computer. Fucking the home alarm people, man. ADT, they'll fucking send you everything out to your house, $18 an hour, and you sit at home and you do either tech support or customer service. Hey, I think it's like 18. I think to start it's like 18 to 20 bucks an hour, bro. And you fucking can sit at your house.
Overall, that's better than I'm making right now.
And like, look up, it's ADT.
I was
and
doing
then also
really good teaching Chinese people English, but when I lost my tooth, they said I don't look like the part that they want. I was making good. It was $20. It was minimum wage sitting online for however, and then $20 an hour when I was actually interacting.
But like,
And,
I'm saying,
and that
like,
was great money.
Like you could do that ADT, and then to the cyber tech career, what Chaka talking about, same shit, bro. Same shit. You don't have to go work for a firm. You could work back office type shit for like AT&T, you know, sitting at home. They'll send you the computer and shit, and you can make sure that their customer shit isn't getting hacked, their phone accounts and all of that type of shit. Like there's
Yeah,
like
I tried to have a
like
separate.
really
I tried to have separate computer for just work only. Yeah, it doesn't work.
not well the company will send you a computer, and that's a company you
Yeah, I bought a computer and it still didn't get used for work only.
well that their computers you're gonna have to use for work only. It's not gonna be one of those you can go web surfing and all that type of shit. It's gonna
Like
be
like
their
like I
stuff.
said,
So, but I want to wrap it because it's 3 a.m. But
Yeah, I need to lay down too.
I want to say, you know, everybody's motivation
yeah, I'm open to close tomorrow.
it isn't just making money, bro. Like, and I think it's really sucks that our society pushes us in that direction where what's most important is making money. Like, and we do have to make a living. We have to eat. We have to pay the bills.
How much do you need though?
Yeah, so
This
that's
is
my
what
argument.
we really need to ask.
That's really where I'm at on that. It's I don't think that everyone's primary driver should be how much they're making. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that should be what they choose their degree to be in or what job that they're gonna have, all based on the number of dollars that it provides. And then when you have a society that's looking at things like that, then you're gonna lose a lot. If you know, like I say, everybody can't be engineers, everybody can't be in the NBA, everybody can't be in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, we need all different kinds of people doing all different kinds of things so we can have a stronger society.
There's money in just about anything that you do, you know, and Doc has a point. It's about your budgeting and this and that. You know what I'm saying? But when I sit back and I think about, you know, my age, I'm not even that old, but looking at my age and then just thinking about, like, I got 2 kids and, you know, I want to be able to not spoil them, but give them that start in life that we didn't fucking have, you know what I'm saying? And be able to, you know, do vacations and, you know, take my kids out and see shit, you know, see different parts of the world and, you know, take vacations and not have to struggle month to month. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in a place where, you know, my next month bills are already paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to stress about that. And I feel like the situation that a lot of workers are in when it comes down to teachers, nurses, social workers, you know, I think they would be more inclined, like they start out great, but then when they have to take on the stresses of everyday life and then their personal life, and then they come to work and they have no support, you know what I'm saying? The door is shut in their face every which way they're turned. They have no support, and then on top of that, they're barely making any money. It's like, bro, like it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I think that people like them should get paid a fair fucking wage, man. You know, should get paid for, you know, for the work that they do, the time that they put in, the effort, you know. And me personally, bro, I just want to see everybody. I want to see. I don't want to say successful because, you know, success is all in your head of what you measure.
Have the ability to be successful.
Right.
Yeah. You
And
know,
have the
and
liberty
be
to move around and be alive and actually live. But
Move around. There you go. Move around.
What's more important? What's more important than teachers, bro? What's more
Why
important
pay
than that?
$3,000 a month for a 1-bedroom when you can move to another state and pay half that and still have the same kind of job?
What's more important than teachers, bro? What
don't know.
What profession
I don't know.
is more important than teaching?
Doctors.
I don't know. Well, without the teachers, there wouldn't be any doctors. So you got to think about that.
Absolutely, I understand that. We're talking. I was assuming a high end question on that.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is, bro. Like, I just, the inequality that exists in our society. Like, it's just like it's bullshit, bro. And
Which inequality?
Me growing up the way that I grew up and being less than, it just made my mind frame like, okay, I know I'm not college bound, but I'm at least graduate high school or get a fucking GED, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to provide for myself.
And I feel you on that, bro, because I'm older now, though. I'm older now. When I was younger, I was all about making money, and I did make good money. I made really good money, but I'm older now, and I just felt like, because I climbed the ladder a bit, and I had 401k, I had 6 weeks vacation time, I had all of this. I had bought a house and all of this, and I still didn't feel fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel satisfied. I didn't feel successful, even though everybody was telling me that I was. I didn't feel that way.
Because it's a mind state. Success is it's a mind state. It's not about the money. It's not about, what I'm saying? It's not about so much about the money, because you get so much money and it's like, okay, it doesn't matter what gives you the gratification is like, hey, I'm coming up with new ideas every day. I got this business over here that's on fucking autopilot. Now I can go over here and I can actually go and fulfill out a dream. Yeah, be creative and go out and fulfill out a dream that I may have, or something that I may want to do. And that's the thing. Like, yes, money is not everything, but money can open so many doors for not just yourself. If you are a genuinely good person and want to help and want to see people, like, your money and your ideas, you know what I'm saying, could help the next up and coming fucking Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or next Einstein or whatever, fucking, go on and do something else, create something else greater, and it's just, I don't know, bro. But to answer your question, Doc, the inequalities, I think it's fucked. I think that it's fucked up that you have a certain amount of people in the world that owns everything, that has all of the money, and they control so much, and they don't do shit. And they get all of the breaks in life. They got money hand over fist. When is the last time Amazon fucking paid taxes, and that company is worth what, over $200 billion?
Yeah, that shit ain't right. But let me ask you this. Let's say you go down that road of making the money, and you make really good money, but you have to be gone all the time. You got to spend all your time at work. I mean,
here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing with sometimes to get to where you want to be in life, and to be successful, sometimes you have to fucking step outside of reality, because to be in reality all of the time is a mediocre life. Sometimes you have to go into that dark room. Sometimes you have to forsake time. You have to forsake this relationship or this or that in order for you to get to where you're going. But if you are genuinely good at your core and you truly love people, once you get to where it is that you vision yourself, are you there, may not necessarily be where you want to be, but you're there, you've put in that time and that effort, everything is gonna come back full circle because of who you are at your core. That doesn't change, nigga. You born with that shit in you. That is there no matter what. That will never leave you. Being genuinely a good person that care, a person that's of humanity, integrity, that loves people and want to see everybody win, nobody is not gonna understand it. They're gonna talk shit to you. I got people telling me all the time, man, you need to come off that road. You got 2 kids at home, you got the wife, you got this, you got, okay. I got a fucking high school diploma. What the fuck else can I do in Houston? I have no other skill. What the fuck else can I do in Houston? I got the gift of gab. I can talk a good game, but I can talk myself on the job, but then I go into these people's job and can't really do what they need me to do. Then boom, it's gone. Like I realized that I was not gonna be the nigga running around the neighborhood at 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? And sitting up on a corner smoking cigarette, you know, waiting for somebody to pull up, need their car wash or need their grass cut. Like, so I realized that, you know, it damn near cost me my marriage. You know what I'm saying? And I can be honest enough to talk about it, but I had to explain it to her. And right now, to this day, if my wife came to me and said, you know what, I understood everything, I was in agreement, but I can't take this no more, I have to go, then you know what, for me to get to where I want to be in life and be successful and to leave something behind that help give my kids a start, and not only my kids to go to the heights that I want to go with helping foster kids that's growing up in these different foster homes that are being dropped out of the system at 18 years old with no skill, nowhere to fucking turn. I may just have to say, okay, but hey, I'm sorry. I hope that you can find somebody that can not only love you, but give you the time and be here like you need. It's just, I have to do that, bro, because at the end of the day, when I look around, I don't have nobody else. When I look around and I think about if I die today or something, this here, who got my kids? Who got my wife? We ain't got no fucking body. I gotta lay a foundation, and that foundation has to be on autopilot, going and building another foundation, Like I say, I'm not trying to spoil them, but if they fall down on their ass, they got something. They have somewhere to turn. This is something that a lot of us, I feel like a lot of us do not have. You know what I'm saying? And things maybe would turn out a lot different for us if we had that kind of support, or if we even had something that we could fall, you know, not fall back on and just sit on our ass, but okay, I gotta go right here. You know, this shit here didn't work. Let me go back to the drawing board. I got somewhere to go that's stable till I get back on my feet.
But I ain't gonna lie, dudes. I want more than that. What you're saying, I want more than that. And maybe I'm selfish, but I want to be able to create things. I want to be able to benefit from these things that I created. I want to be able to take time to, you know, like think about things. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I also want to be there, you know, and be available, you know, to my kids.
I just feel like you in the beginning, like, I'm there for my kids. With the job that I have now, I'm gone 6 days. I'm home 2. It's not a whole lot of time in there, but I make the best of my time. When I come home, whatever they got going on, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my son in baseball, whether it's my daughter at track and field or soccer, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm there. Like I don't just come home and sit on, like I'm an active father. My children know, they understand, and they know, okay, daddy out here getting it. But when he come home, he's with us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm assuming also, like what I did with my son, if they announce, if they're doing sports and stuff like that, you're either listening to or you know the score of the game, even if you weren't there. Even if you and you get there and go, hey, yeah, I heard you did good in this one. I heard you took second. Awesome.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't there, you made sure, because you know that all of that is on the website. All of that is, the schools are doing that now.
Yeah, and then on top of that, with my son, they have the Game Changer. So
sometimes you can even listen to it or watch it live.
Yeah, that's what the Game Changer.
Oh
app
yeah,
is.
they didn't have apps.
Yeah,
they didn't have the apps in my time.
Yeah, well, they stream my son. Like I can watch his baseball game while I'm out here on the road, you know. And then
Hell yeah.
if I'm
Oh
driving,
my
I can listen. I can listen
God.
to it. You know, it's like,
That
say,
would have been
man,
so awesome.
it's
My
all
s-
about when you say be there in time. See, you got to be able. You got when you
There's
doing
being
what
in the
I'm doing, or
bleachers
when
and
you're
there's
trying to
being
do
there.
what, yeah, and when you're trying to do and get to where you want to be, man. It's about you have to know when and where to be
Even
selfish. You
even
got to
if you
be
can't
selfish
sit in
out
the
here in the
bleachers
field.
now, you can still be there. And that
Yeah,
is the most wonderful difference between our day growing up and now.
yeah. You
You
know,
can still
you could,
participate in your child's life, even if you are not there.
yeah. But you know, like I say, you
But you
got to
got to
know
tell
when
them
and where.
about it because if they don't see you there, they don't
Oh,
know you're there.
my son know after every game I call him, hey man, good job. You know, and I don't just tell him good
You
job.
tell him
I
you
critique
tell
him.
him about a play he made, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
I tell
yeah,
him
that
about a
was a good
play, man.
play on second base or whatever.
Yeah, and like it's just like the last game. You know, he hit the ball, and I mean it was like the kid tripped. He didn't catch it. And I say, hey man, you got to straighten that up. You were a little bit late on that hit. You got it across the line. You got an RBI, but hey, you were a little bit late on that. You need when that pitcher goes and lift before he lifts his leg, you need to be ready. You know,
Dude,
but and it's
it,
just
it,
it's
it,
just
it,
it's
it
all it's
sucks to
all
be a remote
perspective,
parent,
and
but
it's like
it's
Chuck, like the name of the show. It's not me, it's you, and you say the perspective. You know, we were talking about the perspective of life. It's just it's a mind state, man. You got to know. I feel like for me, this is just me. You have to know when and where to be selfish. You have to like when I come home, I may be tired, I may be this, I may be that, but I turn that shit off. I turn that off for them. Now, when they go to bed, I'll sit down, I have me a drink, I chill out. I'm to myself. You know what I'm saying? I may come home and may not just I'm tired. I just want to have a drink and relax. But my wife want me to get on that ass. And it's like I go do that. And then when I'm done and she go to sleep, I go sit in my chair, watch TV, pull up another drink, you know, get on my it's just it's I feel like everything is in perspective. Everything is a mind state. And sometimes you can be so buried by shit trying to process so many things at one time, you feel like you have no way out. Everything is caving in on you. I've been there. I've done that, and you right with what you're saying. We need people to be teachers. We need plumbers. You know what I'm saying? We need electricians. We need more apprentice programs to get these kids started.
we need
But the
bricklayers.
thing about it is, it's like,
HVAC.
yeah, HVAC. It's like, man, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to school to be a teacher, but it's like, man, come on, man. We need to do better. We need to do better by these teachers, as a society. Like they have no support, man. Like right now, like the state of
See,
like they're
we,
losing
we,
teachers left and right, bro,
we
in the state of
literally
Texas.
have a generation of teachers right now. The young ones and the 5 to 7 years into it, we literally have a group of people that were told any degree will be okay and you will make a ton of money.
They lied to us.
Yeah.
And then we paid for it and paid for it and paid for it.
But
Man,
I was smart enough
it's
to
a lot
keep
of times.
my stuff down.
It's a lot of
But
times that I want to be there, man, and make shit happen. But I understand. Like, say, man, even if I had, let's let's say you were graduated from college, you got your philanthropy thing going. Even if you could, you, I know people that work right there in Houston every day, and they miss shit. They miss games, they miss recitals, this or that. You know what I'm saying? But the the great thing about it is having a good partner. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that includes you, somebody that acknowledges you, because for the longest time, my kids thought they mama bought everything. And she had to sit them down and tell them, like, no. The reason why we in this store, the reason why you had this, the reason why you playing baseball, the reason why you got all these nice clothes, this, that, it's because of your father.
Look,
He
I'm-
make,
it-
he
it's
goes out here
about
and work,
freaking
and I create a
teamwork.
balance in the house, But man, we gonna get it together, bro. Don't nobody have the answers. I think it's all about our, we
Hey,
go off
nobody
our,
has the answers because we haven't figured out the right questions to ask yet.
man. You know what? It's
Let's
crazy.
wrap it.
I listened to a sermon. I watched this pastor on YouTube, Elevation Church. His name is Stephen Furtick. I can't pronounce his last. I always mess up his last name. But that's what he was saying. He was like, we pray and ask God a question. God doesn't always give us an answer, but instead he gives us a better question. And it was like he broke it down, and he was like, just think about if we asked better questions, instead of always wanting the answer, and we pray and we ask for things, but God's answer don't look like what we prayed about, so we ignore it. It goes right over the top of our head, and it was like, man, wow. And we do that in everyday life.
Yeah. We're gonna have to wrap it on that.
Yeah, man, I'm going to bed, bro. I got to get up in about 3 hours, literally.
Dude,
All right, man.
I'm working open to close tomorrow on Easter.
All right, man.
At a mom and pop Italian restaurant.
Well, happy Easter, everybody, and peace and love.
Happy
Thank
Zombie
y'all for-
Jesus Day,
Hey,
if
man,
that's what
I'm
you
just
prefer.
wondering how in the hell they got bunnies and chickens for Easter.
We talked about that.
I'm
You know what I'm
still
saying?
I'm still
I'm
having
wondering how did the
fun.
bunny hit the chicken and the chicken still laid eggs. I'm just
Well, they
I'm
always
just
say which came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, everyone knows it's the rooster.
All right, man. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening.
Peace.
Peace.